circuit, round number 2 of the Rallyx series, and yesterday, Hal, I mean, great racing all around, iconic venue. You can't ask for much more as rallycross fans.
Brilliant racing, wasn't it, across all of the categories, lots of hard and fair battles, especially in open two-wheel drive, open four-wheel drive. So a move for the win in cross car. There was all sorts going on. You can watch all of those highlights back across the Rallyx social media platforms, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I mean, my first in-person take of Rallycross or Rallyx over here. It was just it was the close battles and the clean racing. To me, it was you know, as a race fan, that's what you want to see. You want to go all the way to the finish, but you want to see those tight, close passes. But you want it to be clean and not a lot of aggression. And it was just beautiful bits of racing. Yeah,
like you say, there was a lot of respect out there across all of the classes. Of course, there's always a bit of drama, and that's where you get in the cut and thrust of a rallycross race. And yeah, it's been brilliant. And the best thing is we get to do it all again today. We're in the middle of the opening session of the day. We're going to go live with open two-wheel drive Q2 very soon. And here are some of the open two-wheel drive machines queuing up, ready to go out.
And you know, talking about Open 2, obviously that close battle, Victor Johansson yesterday, just a phenomenal effort there. I know we were able to speak with him, you know, after the win. Asked him, "You going to make any changes?" He goes, "Nope, car was great. Let's go racing again."
Clearly, Victor's found something over the winter that's enabled him to extract even more start line performance out of that hybrid system. Peter McGarry here, he's had a problem in free practice this morning with the car cutting out. Look at the cooling additions to McGarry's Polo. This is the constant evolution you have in all of the categories, but especially open two-wheel drive. I know Brendan at Maximo Motorsport has done a lot of work on that car. Brand new Ford Escort from Dan here. Beautiful machine.
He was strong yesterday too. Had a few issues there, but Ayers ran really strong.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it, to bring a brand new car to an event? And did a great job. Such a strong Belgian and Dutch contingent here. Let's just have a look in JC Race Tech. There's no one about, but debut podium in open four-wheel drive FC2 for Lucas Anderson yesterday. A good job from him, stepping up from Supercar Lights. Let's try and avoid getting run over. Let's look down the next row here and see.
A little bit of chaos here in the paddock. Everybody going out for their sessions.
Thomas Merstad, he was a headline yesterday, wasn't he? Leading the cross-car final.
He had it in the bag, and just in that final corner, looped himself around, looked like he hung a tire off in the gravel, and got another car coming through
just
here.
Just ran that bit, didn't he? And lost the rear. It happens, doesn't it? Let's have a run away from this microphone. And if we're all still here, that's cool. Let's try and grab a word with, there's Lucas Anderson, no wonder we couldn't find him, on the roof of the Owen truck. Here is Adam Oman. Let's grab a quick word. Well, mate, Bapton was on fire yesterday. You've come from loads of two-wheel drive experience. FC2, how did you find it on your first day?
A bit more difficult than I expected, but I didn't know where I was compared to the others, because I have only tried it at home alone. So, and the feeling was good then. But when you see the competition, I realize I have some improvements to do.
There's nothing quite. Sorry, Jim. There's nothing quite like driving a four-wheel drive rallycross car, though, is it? It's quite an experience.
Yeah, it's great fun, and the corner especially, because you can go so fast in them and just go on the throttle and point and shoot, basically.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the biggest change you've had to make in your driving style moving into a four-wheel drive?
Just driving with the throttle through the corners, because I have previously been driving an open 2VD car, and there you have to be just a more smooth on the throttle, and now you can just go on the throttle and steer with the front wheels where you want to go, basically. So that's the biggest. Just drive through the corners, not roll through them, basically.
Enjoy it, mate.
Yeah.
We hope to see you continuing to improve. Now let's have a sneak around here.
Uh-oh, he's hiding. Victor's hiding, our friend Victor. We were just talking about you.
I don't want to talk to Victor. Look at, Peter, can you see down here? Look at the amount of dirt, and this is really indicative of rallycross tracks in general. The amount of dirt you pick up in a wheel, and you've done how many laps? 3 laps of free practice?
Yeah, 3 laps.
And when it's wet, that scenario, it just feels and feels and feels the wheel, and you get all sorts of horrible vibrations. But more to the point, yesterday, brilliant result. How pleased were you to... We've seen what you've been doing at home with your YouTube series, loads of work, and we were talking about this in commentary, that all of those late nights that are quite difficult to force yourself through sometimes all come good when you have a day like yesterday.
It's a really good feeling when, you know, everything comes together. A few weeks ago I didn't think I would make it here to race, but you know, we made it yesterday. I'm really happy. I'm proud of my team, you know, stepping up and doing all the work. I had a nice car all the weekend. Was a little bit off pace during qualifying, and in the semi-final I think it came to me, the track a little bit. The gravel went away, a little more tarmac, and my car new tires on the final, and I was gone.
And how's that feel? I mean, everybody at home on social media, on YouTube, they kept talking about how close the open two-wheel drive race was. How's that to be? I mean, there was 3 of you, and it was just a battle all the way to the finish.
Yeah, it's really intense when you sit in the car and you see in the rearview mirror Manix and Becks just bumper to bumper. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to drive like that, and you know, was a really respectful race, and I hope you guys at home enjoyed the view you had from the camera, from the coaches.
Clearly this car is very unique. The hybrid system we've talked about a lot, and we can explain more as we go through the season again, but you found something else, haven't you? You've clearly found something in the starts that's this thing's wild off the line now.
Yeah, we worked all season, yes, last season, you know, with the starts getting a little bit more consistent. It was a little bit up and down. I think we found, you know, the setting window, so to say, so I know where the low point and high point is and where to operate. Of course, the track evolves, the grip is going up and down all day, so you have to be on top of that and, you know, keep changing with the track. And but we have found our, you know, setup window both in the starts and on the track, so feels good for the day too.
Thank you, Victor.
Thanks, Victor.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, as always. How long have we got on this opener, Peter? Some time.
Well, I think one of the exciting things is talking about the technologies in the Open 2s. I know everybody talks about open four-wheel drive technology there with the FC2 cars and that, but I mean, they're really pushing some limits with Victor's car in open two-wheel drive and some of the technology.
And open is the name of the game. It's just, it's basically free as long as you've got 2 driven wheels rather than 4. And there's, of course, there's some safety parameters and some technical regulations, but overall, it's a pretty open category, and that's fantastic. It's really allowing people to introduce different concepts. For example, I was involved in a discussion over the winter about paddle shift rather than, you know, normal sequential mechanical shift. There's also people using H-pattern gearboxes, turbo, superchargers, naturally aspirated, all sorts of different engine capacities. It's fantastic. I really love open two-wheel drive. It's a real traditional rallycross category where there's so much innovation.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about tires a minute. We see they were kind of looking at tires, eyeballing things. Big change today is yesterday they were allowed 2 sets of tires. They've got 1 set of tires today. I know last night talking with some of the drivers, they said it's going to be a little bit interesting as far as tire choice, when to use the tires, when not to use the tires, trying to have a good set of tires in the finals. I mean, what's your take on this, Hal?
You also carry over tires from yesterday. So it's the new tires you're limited on for today with an 8 total. And yeah, it's not super abrasive here, but it's really busy. The tyres are always doing something. There's no straights to have any sort of rest for the rubber. And yeah, like the rubber here is good, I would say. This is on Nicholas Gronholm's car. They're leaving them in the sun to get a little bit of tyre temperature into them because you're not allowed to heat the tyres as you would have been able to 20 years ago or something in rallycross events. So yeah, tyre management today is going to be really important, especially in the FC2s where everyone's got basically the same equipment. So managing your tyre strategy is really key to success.
Well, and I think as we saw yesterday in FC2, the battle was so close. Every little edge you can get, I think it's going to come down to the wire.
Absolutely, and Kevin Eriksson, fastest in free practice again this morning, has pole position, but it was Nicholas Gronholm who made the best of the starts yesterday of the pair. Ultimately, it was Oliver Eriksson, though, in the other MSC machine that came out on top of those battles. So, like you say, there's so little to choose between them, and it comes come down to those fine margins. The start is so critical in rallycross always, because if you can get to the first corner first and you can get out of that little battle and lose that tiny bit of time, then you're in a good place.
Yeah, well, I agree, and I think really after what we saw yesterday and the level of racing starting all the way in Crosscar Junior, all the way up through open four-wheel drive, it's really set the stage for not only the race to come today, but the rest of the season. I think we're in for a really good Rallyx season in 2026.
Yeah, it was brilliant yesterday, and I'm sure today is going to be just as exciting. Let's take a look back at Q2 for Crosscar Junior and Crosscar.
Well, and we had early on this morning, we've already had some of the qualifications in the books for all classes. Also, qualifying session 2 for Crosscar Junior and Crosscar. Going to look here at Junior out on track right now.
And as usual, the Junior cross cars with the slippy conditions where the track has been maintained clearly. Tim Klaassen was the class of the field yesterday. Took the fastest time, won the semi-final, and then the final later on. Here at home, and it was Klaassen who went quickest in this session. We'll see Pim's race in just a moment. Currently sits top of the intermediate classification. A few spins along the way for various different people.
Yeah, looking very slick out there this morning, like you said, a lot of moisture in there.
He's etc. starting from pole in this one. The second of the races. That is
He's etc. dropping a wheel off into the grass.
Mirror Sinks running wide as well there in the background. He's etc. lost out badly there in turn 3. Dropping down the order. A good battle further back.
He's etc. getting around, and then looks like was able to make the pass.
And in the final of the Crosscar Junior races, again, Hukar struggling to get off the line. Yesterday, Hukar just couldn't quite get it hooked up away from the start, but had great pace. There was big damage in that run for Tovio, the new Finn, but there is Klaassen. Look how wet the track is as well, with the juniors going out early in Q2.
That's tough too, with being down on power and then having that moisture in the track. Really tough. As we get a look here at Crosscar Junior through 2. Right now it is Klaassen there on top, Huka in second, and Tilla in the third spot. All right, moving up to Crosscar now.
Fastest in Q1 had been Thomas Merstad, who will go in the last of these races. Merstad, of course, with that spin from the lead of the final yesterday, while in command the reigning champion.
Heartbreaking moment for him. We thought he had it locked up, and with a couple laps remaining, just spin all on his own, which is very rare.
Yeah, just dropped the wheel into the looser gravel and couldn't do anything about it. When a rear-wheel drive car snaps on you like that, there's quite often you're a passenger. There's damage for Timmermans after that contact and then placing the wall in the Joker section. Watch the car in the middle here with the yellow nose. The older the Hukar pairing in Crosscar this time does make a good start. There's Espinese etc. around the outside. Beck's in the background shadowing, but Hukar had a solid run early in the race and then lost time with this battle.
A little contact there with Beck's, it looked like.
Crosscar's so frenetic, isn't it? Monstering the curb through the corner inside the Joker lap.
I'm looking at this standing water on the track. It's really quite interesting conditions out here in these early qualifying sessions.
That'll dry up with the heat. There's a lot of heat in the sun today, and it has been since we arrived at the circuit this morning, hasn't it? Rather than the cold of yesterday morning. There is Thomas Merstad on the inside, and yesterday's winner, Vettel Tree, on the outside, getting a bit of a nudge there. Carl Svedland in the white machine running second, had been second quickest in Q1, the reigning junior champion. And indeed in this one was shadowing Thomas Merstad, hounded by teammate Vettel Tree, and Svedland smashing some great laps actually. So clearly feeling much more competitive in the senior cross car category.
Well, and I think yesterday was a big surprise because he was in a spot to transfer to the final, and ended up just making a mistake and took him out and wasn't able to make the final. But he had the speed to be in the final, just not quite there. As we get a look at our cross car results through 2 qualifying heats. Thomas Merstad up front with 100 total points. Carl Svedland in second, 90 points. 10 back. Vetteltree, your winner yesterday, 82 points. Van Hoof and Vlasic there rounding out your top 5. Isaac Cetra in the 6th spot. Then Bex and Huka there in the 8th spot. So we are a couple of qualifying sessions in. We're getting ready to go open 2-wheel drive with session number 2. I mean, through this morning, I mean, we've been out there. We got to watch some of the opening qualifying sessions. We're up in the spotters tower seeing supercars. I know, kind of story of the day is the speeds we're seeing out here. We just saw it with some of the cross cars. I know Kevin Eriksson very, very fast earlier today as well. I think the conditions are shaping up to be very, very good for racing today, Hal.
Yeah, the track will naturally have cleaned through yesterday. Of course, the local crew here will have maintained it. And while track maintenance is dealing with any issues that occur, that's often bringing the loose back onto the racing line, so it's not always clean on the racing line. We talk all the time about a rallycross track always evolving. Yeah. But it is warmer today. There's very little breeze, which may or may not affect things. But the intensity of the sun on the loose will dry it out quickly. And as usual, it's the poor old juniors, because they run first in the session. They get the slipperiest of the conditions. But we are starting after lunch now with open 2-wheel drive Q2. So at least that a different category running first in this first session live.
Well, and I think we talked. You mentioned it's a little bit warmer today. I know earlier today we saw some of the tires out. They were trying to warm them up in the sun. I think you can still see them behind us here. But I think one of the big things is going to dry out. Yesterday is very cold up until middle of the afternoon. Today it's warmed up a lot quicker than it did yesterday.
Yeah, let's have a look around this Euro circuit here in Valkenswaard, the oldest purpose-built rallycross track in Europe. Linden Hill, of course, being the birthplace of rallycross as a sport, and we ride on board with Flying Thing Nicholas Gronholm out of the final corner in his first laps in the FC2 yesterday. Clips the curb in the left-hander. There is penalty for hitting those bollards through the chicane, but there's no penalty on the exit, so you can monster that curb on the right-hand side through turn 1, down into 2, and all of these corners lead into another. It's a circuit where you've just got to constantly maintain minimum speed.
There's no chance to relax on this circuit. I mean, there's always something going on, and even that front stretch after the first lap, I mean, it turns into a chicane. There's no time when you're not doing something as a driver on this circuit.
Long final right-hander on the loose that turns into tarmac. So slippery that final corner. Last time I raced here, at least, all the dirt was getting dragged onto it and there was very little grip. But Gronholm got up to speed quickly in the FC2, had never driven the car until free practice yesterday morning, and wasn't particularly comfortable with the setup, so he made some minor changes, and clearly was flying. Could easily have been up there with the winners yesterday. Ollie Eriksson, of course, took the open 4-wheel drive victory, but Gronholm, Kevin Eriksson, Luke Sanderson were all right in the fight.
Yeah, and it was funny talking when we talked with Nicholas last night. He had mentioned he was very happy. He ended up getting second. He got passed for the lead, but he was very happy. Won with the race quality, but his speed seemed like he was very excited to be here racing Rallyx and excited about the level of competition.
Yeah, and I think for the same for the Eriksson boys. They've enjoyed driving against each other this weekend so far, and let's see more of that in just a few minutes' time.
Well, it sounds like we've got some cars on the grid. We're getting ready to go racing here with Q2. This is going to be our 2-wheel drive division. Open 2-wheel drive. This is race 1, Q2. We got Hermans, Collagen, Verbucht, and Ertz here. Going to be joined here in the studio by a guest.
So welcome to the Rallyx studio, Bart Bell, who can now spend the next few minutes perfecting all of our terrible pronunciations of the local Belgian and Dutch drivers. How are you, mate?
Today is not the best day. This morning by free practice, we had gearbox problems and we cannot solve it for today.
Okay, so that's you out with the focus, but I guess You had an amazing result
Yeah.
here at home yesterday. It must be bittersweet, really, because you scored that victory, and yeah, it must have been wonderful last night.
Yeah, last night was amazing. And yesterday was one of the best days. But it's very unfortunate that we cannot do it again today for my home crowd. But yeah, that's motorsports.
Yeah.
It's mechanical and it can happen.
Well, you had to feel good going into this weekend, but was there any part you expected to win? I mean, we saw the celebration, when you crossed the finish line. There was just pure joy on your face.
Yeah, it was absolutely, no, not at all. We came here without any expectations. It was my first ever drive with the Supercar and with a very strong field. But yeah, it was better than expected, better than hoping, even better than we could dream.
Fantastic. Now, do us a favour. Why don't you tell us the order of this race, and we'll see how terrible we've been at the pronunciation so far.
This is actually the class where I came from.
Yep.
My favorite class, and you see the field is amazing with 38 drivers. This heat is like a local heat. On front we have now Daan Aerts, a new driver in a Ford Escort, very nice and fast car. Second driver is Ludo Hermans, also Escort with turbo. And then 2 front-wheel drive cars. Fabienne Verbucht, the lady driver, very cool girl that she's driving in this class, and she's making steps all the time, and she loves to be here. Her boyfriend is also driving exactly the same Fiesta cars, Freek Hendricks, and he had a very fantastic result yesterday with a 2nd place. And this is his first year. He came from cross cars.
Okay. Fantastic diversity in open two-wheel drivers now. Jim and I were talking about it in the opener. And for me, it's an old school rallycross category where there aren't many limitations. You can do what you want. I know you raced a lot with the BMW the last couple of years. How is it for you? It's as much about enjoying the creation of the car as it is about the driving, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all in that class. You can do everything. It's where rallycross started years ago. You can be very much do yourself with creating cars, and there are no limitations. Some choose for a small engine with turbocharger, others choose for a very big, large engine. For example, Woloch, he has a V8 4-liter, even with a compressor on it now, to get more horsepower out. And we last year we drove with a 4-cylinder 3.4-liter 8-valve Evo engine from Volvo. There are so many possibilities, and then at the end you see that it's very close. If you see the final from yesterday, for me it was one of the best finals in open two-wheel drive ever, with 3 people in 1 second.
Yeah, the pace was so hot at the front as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, they drive like crazy, but very good drivers, very good teams.
So what's the biggest change for you going from open two-wheel drive to the supercar we saw yesterday? As a driver, what's been the biggest change?
Actually, everything is different, because with the 4-wheel drive you have different braking points, you have different acceleration points. It's all different. I think going from open two-wheel drive to open 4-wheel drive is easier than the other way around. If you put me today in the open two-wheel drive, it's much harder, because the 4-wheel drive is so much easier to handle. You can correct it even when it's almost over the point, you can still get it back. And with all the horsepower, in our example we had 400 horsepower on the rear wheels, it's so hard.
Got a replay here. Was Dan Aerts getting the whole shot, never really looked back the whole race, just kind of got a commanding lead and just kind of walked away with this one.
Yeah, it's an amazing start. But that car, it was the X-car from Roger Lippes. These starts we are used, Roger Lippes won from the 80 starts, he won 70.
It's quite some going, isn't it? And your car's now being driven by Steve Volders, your car from last year. Why the change? What was the motivation behind doing something different?
A couple of reasons behind it. Steve Volders had a very big accident in Buxtehude last year, and it was also my old car, and the car was so much damaged that he could not build it back. And he was looking for a new one, and we are building a new one. Ingvar Gunnarsson is building for us a new Volvo 240 for next season. Okay. And I thought, okay, then I can sell this car to Volders. But after a month or 2, I thought, oh, what did I do? And if I see drive it now, it's I think it's a
big
false
jump
start
there. That was
from Chris van Hulst.
Garvelink.
Now I think Chris van Hulst with the Peugeot outer line. Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
Oh.
It was the Peugeot on the outside.
Yeah.
Ex-Ulrich Linnemann car, that, isn't it? The former Super 1600 machine.
Yeah, I didn't see the one on the inside. I just saw the one on the other side jump.
I was explaining to Jim yesterday, it's not so uncommon that if someone jumps, everyone else would go to use a tyre cleaner or take advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My spotter is always telling me, if somebody jumps, go for it, because it's extra warmth in your tires.
That's got to be tough too on a qualification jumping, because now you've got the extra joker and it's qualification. You really kind of take yourself out of it.
Yeah, and I think they have an advantage this weekend because we drive 4 laps, but regularly with Rallyx it's 3 laps, and then in double joker it's impossible. Then it's ruined. And in this track you lose approximately 2 seconds with the joker in this class.
All right, so we're going to try this one again. Garvelink in the 12 on the inside pole position. Looks like Geenan going to get the whole shot.
Nice and tidy around the opening corner. Tom Geenan's a name that's been around a long time, but he's super experienced, and so many of the Dutch and Belgian drivers, because Super National's been so strong here for so long, must know this place so, like yourself, must know this place so well. What are the tricks around around the Euro circuit?
Yeah, this is a special circuit. It's not like any other rallycross track. It's every corner follows up in a new corner. It's never you're always busy on this track.
Yeah.
And it's very slippery. This track is known about all the dust on the track, and some corners are like driving on ice, even when it's on tarmac.
Even Kevin Eriksson, who had never actually driven around here, walked Friday night, and he felt like there was a straight between turn 1 and turn 2. The reality is it's not there at all, is it? Because you're so busy collecting it up from the first corner.
Yeah, he's right in that.
Or clip of the wall there on the inside.
That's a very dangerous point. We see a lot of people roll the car there. They clip it, and then you have a massive, massive crash.
So Garvelink now trying to put a little pressure.
Yeah, small side note, Dirk Garvelink should start with his new Volvo S40, my old car. But he had a practice run last week in Buxtehude, Germany, for the DRX, and then he broke, unfortunately, his engine.
Okay.
So Hulk is currently leading this session. He has not taken the joker yet, so Garvelink may get around if there's, what'd you say, about a 2-second difference?
Yeah, 2 seconds, yeah.
So we'll see if we can make the pass.
Not helped by the pressure from Tom Geenan behind. You really want some free air, don't you, to try and close the gap. 3.7 seconds the margin was for Hulk last time around.
Oh, we got a little turn there. Is Hulk going to take the joker? He does. Yeah, I think that was a wise choice.
Yeah.
Spotter may have been telling him behind. There was a...
You're going to make it.
Yep.
Yes. Whoa, outside line.
Oh, look at that. Garvelink going to push to the high side. Nope, Hulk going to shut the door.
You can see there from that drone shot how dirty it is on the outside as well. It's an enormously long way around there, Bart, isn't it? And I think you need something to go very well for you to be able to get back in.
Yeah, normally it doesn't work, the outside line. I think there's only one driver who can do it, that's Jorg Meinings. He's so talented, and you know that he always tried to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
and it will succeed as well with him.
Meinings we'll see in a few minutes, but wild pace. I don't know if you saw the times for pre-practice this morning, but a second faster than anybody else is just extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah. He's so talented guy, and he can drive that car on the limit, absolutely.
How is it for Belgian and Dutch rallycross at the moment? I know there was an influx of supercars, wasn't there? That sort of has died off a little bit, but Super National, you split in engine capacity, don't you? Plus and minus 2 litres still?
Exactly, yeah. We have a plus and minus 2 litres, and we have Super 1600, that are the 3 classes. Supercars still exist, but we have a few, like Danny Luiten and my car then. Yeah. But it's not enough to have proper races. Yeah. And you see that the teams don't have the budget to drive it for national championship.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? But Open Two-Wheel Drive or Super National as it is here continues to be strong, doesn't it? And I guess the addition of Cross Car as well has helped massively in the domestic series to help with entry numbers and give an achievable entry point for competitors.
Absolutely, and what we do very well in our country, in my opinion, is that we have a lot of classes for the youngsters. We start at 6, with the mini buggies. Then we go on 11 to RST. It's our small, like Ford Ka cars without any bodywork.
Yeah.
Lightweight cars, but very tricky to drive. Rear engine, rear wheel drive. And then they can go to cross car. And we have also now a class like Group N 1800, standard cars 1800cc, maximum 140 horsepower. And that means that all the young guys can drive in our country, and we see already 25 new young guys since 2 years.
Okay, wow, fantastic stuff. And that's the battle for everybody, isn't it? Is finding an opportunity for new drivers. As we see the third race in this session get underway.
There's Van Hove, shot out of a cannon there in this session. Big jump on the field. You know, it's interesting. I'm looking. We got 3 Belgian, 2 Dutch entries in this one. We were talking. Two-wheel drive is so strong in this area of the world. I mean, between Belgian entries and Dutch entries, I think that it's pretty much 95% of the field. I mean, what do you think makes this so strong here versus other areas of Europe?
Yeah, I think because we don't have the supercars anymore, and we see a couple of guys moving from supercar to open two-wheel drive. For example, Johnny Verkuringen, he drove supercar for a couple of years ago, and also Tom Gainer from the last heat. And we have a lot of guys, and they make the step back to open two-wheel drive. But we have also the opportunity to grow further, like Van Hove, who's leading the pack now. He was always competing in Super National minus 2 liter, and now he has a Honda K20 Turbo and competing in open two-wheel drive, or we call it in our country Super National Plus. Yeah, also Nick Nijs is a good example. They became from the minus 2 liters, and then they build a new engine or put a turbocharger on it. Compete in the biggest class.
And that's an achievable step, isn't it? You're not building a whole new car, you're not reinventing the wheel, you're making an adaptation. Yes, engines are expensive, I know, but it's something you can implant, and a bit of repackaging and you've moved up a class.
That's a good thing about the regulation for open two-wheel drive. I think one of the best things Rallyx did is introducing open two-wheel drive, and a lot of countries are adapting now the regulations. That's good.
It also allows people, with whether you've got a Super 1600 car or a Super National car, of course, as we know, most countries have different regulations set for their two-wheel drives, but it is a cover-all, isn't it? You can bring anything from any country into this category, which I think is great. It does give locals an opportunity, and you've competed here the last couple of years in your home event. It's not necessarily about the winning, is it? Taking part in your home round of a big international series is a big deal for local drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. But look at the spectators. You want to drive here. If you are from here, you want to be here, this race. And if you can do that with your own car, yeah, that's the most fantastic thing. And you see that probably not on this track, but on some tracks you have many chances with even a Super 1600 car. We saw it in Portugal, where Sousa take the lead from Tiger with a very good Super 1600 car. But this track especially is not a best track for a front-wheel drive Super 1600 car. I think if you drive it to the final, you already did it very, very well.
Absolutely. As we see Verhoeven take the win in that one. Best lap of a 41.62, 56.7 was the total time. As we get towards the faster end of the field. Bart, you've put a huge amount of effort into this event with your team here. How satisfying is it to have international rallycross here at the Euro Circuit, but also working with the club and all these volunteers to make it happen?
Yeah, that's amazing. If we saw after Corona pandemic how hard it was to get drivers, to get money, to get sponsors, everything. And if you see where we stand now, a couple of years later, but I have to say I did only by myself, only a very small part. There are a lot of enthusiastic guys from NFA who did really, really hard job. They worked 700 hours on the event, and I was only there to help them with some advice, but it was a really small part. But the rest of the guys did a fantastic job, and I'm so proud that we have the event now for the second time. And I think, yeah, we should continue.
It's got a real solid footing, hasn't it? And there's a lovely atmosphere in the paddock. Yeah, it feels like it's got its place in the championship.
Well, we had dancing gorillas and dinosaurs earlier. I mean, it's
So we're getting to the sharp end of open two-wheel drive here in Q2, and that is a brilliant start for Peter McGarry, the Irish driver from P2 on the grid.
Lidman.
Eric Lidman around the outside again gets forced wide. Lidman spent a lot of time out there this weekend. Slavomir Wallach looks to the inside in the big BMW. Nick Nayens is having a look around the outside in the Mark II Ford Escort. Bit of contact. Lidman's hit the wall on the inside. Nayens could make good out of this if he can get the traction. Side by side with Wallach still as we go up towards the Joker. Wallach will Joker this time around. Nayens gets away with it. It's so difficult, Bart, in the braking zone into turn to 3 there. It's so loose.
Yeah. And if you are outside at Portocnie, it's not possible. There's no traction at all. And the problem is also he's getting chased by a front-wheel drive car who drive complete other lines. You have to get a very close, tight line, because otherwise the front-wheel drive car is putting his nose through it.
McGarry, though, with issues this morning in free practice, they were solved by the team ahead of Q1. 7th quickest was McGarry, but a brilliant start there from the Volkswagen Polo, which they've done huge work to over the winter with another engine concept and a turbocharger. Pete was telling us this morning that
contact.
That's a tight merge between Lidman and Wallach. Lidman's stuck in the wall. That'll be looked at by race director Rainis Nittis, so we'll have a quick chat with Rainis in the replay package. But yes, it's so high speed there at the Joker merge here.
Yeah, and the Joker is quite tricky. As a driver, you cannot see anything. You need to have a good spotter, and even for the spotters, they have to find a place where they can see it quite well, because there's also the depth is hard to see. And if there are incidents like this, it's always Joker out, because the Joker should give you a clean line, but in practice never happens.
Yeah, so the rule is that the Joker has to give way, but that's very difficult to ask someone to get out of the throttle when you're side by side
and
like that.
The outside line is so dirt, so slippery.
When I think, I was up in the spotters tower earlier, and there's a lot of blind spots for a spotter on this course, and I don't know that there's any spot where you can actually get a good view of everything. So you got to kind of pick the corners you want to see, because half the course I think the drivers are going to be blind.
Yeah, that's a problem from this track. The layout with the paddock inside is not the best layout possible, but it's one of the oldest tracks in the world.
Well, you don't want to change it now because it's got history.
Yeah, that's true.
There's
I think Peter McGarry is doing a great job.
Gonna get it.
Wow, Nayens.
Nayens getting right around him through the Joker.
That's tricky there. I guess there'll be a yellow flag at some point. We'll have to have a little look back, but a solid run from Nick Nayens. And McGarry will have been compromised on the Joker exit there by having Lidman's car.
He wasn't able to stay in the gas because he couldn't. He had to lift and tuck in behind. It's just tough for McGarry there.
Let's try and hear from race director Rainis Nittis when he's got a moment. If you're listening, Rainis, brilliant start there from McGarry. Away from the line, a little bit of contact early on with Lidman. This is Nayens getting into the side of Wallach. Those
Lidman
two
rushing the wall there.
Lidman had a bit of contact early on, didn't he? And then this is Wallach getting forced into the Joker on the opening lap. And this is the merge. That's tricky, isn't it? Because Lidman did have room to go to the right. I would say that's a racing incident personally, but.
Same for me.
That's why I'm not a steward. And then this is the merge. Well, McGarry's going to be wary there because he's got to bail out the throttle and tuck in behind to get around Lidman's stricken car. So shame for McGarry, because maybe that would have been a little bit different. But there's the result. Nick Nayens takes the win. That earlier Joker paying off because wasn't caught in that traffic, and did a time of 2:57.8.
Gary and Wallach going to round out your top three.
190E Evo on lane number 3 in the middle. Lane number 4, C4 with an extreme, well-prepared BMW. And the second Volvo who's doing the sandwich, Ariane van Lommel, with her yellow-black colored, flames colored Volvo 242. Lane number 5.
Right, so that is Lidman. They're going to pull off. Hopefully you can get that thing back together.
Yeah, you see Eric Lidman has a fantastic car. It's also a Gunnarsson built car. But the problem for drivers from Sweden who are not used to drive on this kind of tracks. It's more like a racing track instead of rallycross track.
Okay.
They are used to drive a lot more dirt, and it costs a lot of time to adapt. He's a very good driver. If you see him driving in Hüljes, for example, he's one of the best, and his car is also one of the best. But yeah,
he had a rough weekend this weekend. Lidman has.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very fast driver. Not a good weekend for him. Speaking of fast drivers, though, Mayanix sitting on the inside, been very, very fast this weekend.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's incredible. But always, if you see him in national championship, he's dominating for the last 3 years.
All right, Bex has been very fast. Got not a lot of luck on his side this weekend, but Bex has been ridiculously fast. Victor Johansson there, yesterday's winner in this heat as well. Oh, looks like Victor getting bumped over.
Amazing start from Volders.
Bit of contact in the run to the first corner. Mayanix is up the inside of Johansson. Oh, they've had contact. Johansson's in the wall on the outside. As you say, Bart, that was a big impact with the wall. Mayanix is out front, followed by Bex. Volders had an epic start in your old car, but couldn't quite make it work. I'd like to see that again at the end of this one, but what a shame for Victor Johansson. Volders in. Look at the damage. That is really bad news for the Swede. Bex gets sideways behind Mayanix. I wonder if they'll red flag this. We'll have to see in a moment.
That's heartbreaking, especially after yesterday's victory and how close the racing was in this division.
They're covering it with a wave yellow, so no overtaking in this sector. Mayanix will just roll out the throttle just to be aware of where the car is. Big damage to Victor Johansson. That is not what the Swede needed. People in the studio doing the wincing face because everyone knows how much work goes into producing one of these cars. And but rallycross teams are brilliant, aren't they, Bart? And
Bex.
So twice yesterday, Mayanix
He
got
did the
covered
same
off.
trick yesterday, and there's only one driver who can do this last call, and that's York.
Just by
Because
having the
normally-
attitude in the car to cover off. And
Bex has got to be frustrated at this point. That's happened to him multiple times now, and he just been on the losing end of that.
And if he has a free air, I think Christoph is still the fastest driver with two-wheel drives on this track. But you see that York is much cleverer and driving. And you see that Christoph has the problem that he's behind him and he cannot pass him. But he is faster.
Mayanix just so good
side
at
by
just
side again.
placing the car where it needs to be, opening up the corner and then just sitting on the apex, not losing any speed, but just positioning the car. Just you're not even giving a sniff of a window of the door being open.
It was very frustrating to drive to him because he's so talented. But I was also really enjoying it because for me this is proper rallycross.
Fastest lap of the race before this one was from Volders, but Mayanix has now gone quickest. Look at the attitude of the mean machine, sending it into the first corner. There's the sorry sight of Johansson's car on the outside.
So Beck's going to try and set something up here.
It's tricky in this situation, isn't it? Because you know that you're going really quickly. Oh, Bex looks to the inside. There's definitely no way through on the inside there. But Bex will know that the pace is there. So while you want to win, you both know you need to get good, consistent time. So.
Yeah. And Christoph is so experienced. He is smart enough to know drive a second time close to York is very good for the qualifying.
2:45.2 was Mayanix's fastest time last time around. In all that battling in that one, it's a 2:50.5. Of course, the track conditions have changed again a little bit. But 2 from 2 for the mean machine. Let's have a look back at the start then. So the car to watch is the one in the middle. A bit of contact there with Bex. Bex gets out of the throttle, fair enough. So does Mayanix. This is where the time was lost in that overall time. Now Mayanix goes to the inside with Johansson. Then they've had further contact by both front wheels touching, and that's put Victor into the wall. Let's look at it from this angle.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Nittis will be looking at that because you could argue that Mayanix has forced the issue on the inside, but at the same time, he hasn't actually.
It's
not front to rear.
Yeah.
It's given Johansson nowhere to go, but the door was open. So, another reason why I'd rather stand up here than make any decisions. But Bart, thank you for joining us for Open Two-Wheel Drive. What are your plans for the rest of the year?
We have to look after this weekend, but normally yesterday gives a good feeling for competing in Nice, Buxtehude, and especially Portugal. I was there last year, Portugal, one of the best events I think, with a really amazing crowd. And for the rest we have to see. The new car will take at least a year longer, but maybe 1.5 years. And that time we do it with the Focus. Or probably with FC2, I did a test 2 weeks ago, and that was very nice as well.
Brilliant. Well, it'll be fantastic to have you back when you're ready.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the day yesterday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Bart.
Great having Bart stop by in the booth, and
there is Johansson's car, as you say. That is a mess, isn't it? But
you know, in Victor, you know, it was, I don't want to say funny, but this is how Victor is. The race isn't even over, and he's already climbing under the car to look and see what it's going to take to repair the car and get it back on the grid. You know, he's that type of guy where it's like, let's go. We're going to get this car back.
That's the Rallycross attitude. I think you'd find almost everyone in the paddock doing that, because anything you can ascertain now that saves you a bit of time, because there isn't a load of time to get sorted and be back out for Q3. There's a lot of space in the front of that Volvo, that front Mercedes, sorry. So hopefully it's just superficial. The engine sits quite a long way back.
You know, he really didn't have it. He was right on the edge there and didn't really have much room to go anywhere. I don't know. Like you said, I'm glad I'm not a race steward on this one.
Hopefully we can hear from Rallyx Nittis if he can hear us. Brilliant. So first of all, let's wind back a little bit, Rallyx. The incident with the Joker merge in the previous race between Lidman and Wallach, what did you make of that?
Yeah, there I give a black flag to number 60, because he was coming from the normal track. In normal situation you have priority, but here the car inside was already outside of the Joker, and the speed the car number 16 came into his side, that was way too high and not leaving space inside, and the black car was not going outside to get him more space. So yeah, that's way too much. No respect for other driver inside line. So we have seen many races where guys going around outside overtaking and clean racing. This is too much.
Okay, thanks, Rallyx. So that's black flag for Slavomir Wallach in that instance. Wind forward a little bit before we get going with this Supercar Lights race. What about that first corner in the last race where Victor Johansson was in the wall?
Yeah, unfortunate, but for me it's race incident. The car looked bad after the crash, because it was high speed, but not really think to penalize someone there. It just carnage before turn 1, and then side by side, and they clipped the wheels, and one car went completely out. So yeah, for me that was race incident.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Rallyx.
Brilliant insight, as always. What unique opportunity to speak to the race director as we get ready for Q2 in Supercar Lights.
Yeah, we've got Kevin Darvik sitting on the inside on this one. We've got JVD in the middle, and Mats Jonas on the outside, a few seconds away from going green. Darvik had some speed yesterday. We're going to see what he's got. JVD had an incident yesterday, took him kind of out of the running, but a very strong effort by him as well. Looked like Jonas getting the edge there, but it's going to be really tough to make that work from the outside.
Very even start from the three of them in the run to the first corner. A little bit more contact. Jonas runs wide. Oh, that's going to be
another one.
Buried in the sand for sure. Kevin Darbach, who just had a frustrating day of being stuck in the battles all day, didn't he, in the opening round yesterday. But got clean away out front in this one, and will be able to get his head down. JVD into the Joker for the first time of asking. That's going to give him free air as well, and that'll be useful for him.
I was going to say, I think that was a wise use of the Joker there for JVD.
Although, given his experience, maybe you'd sit on the back of the much more experienced Kevin Darbach for a little bit. There's Jonas. Shame to be stuck in that deep sand, and when we walked the track on Friday night, it's hard to tell how deep that sand is until you've seen someone go in it, but there's absolutely no coming out.
Well, that was when we were leaving yesterday. I looked and we saw the tire marks from everybody that's going in. I mean, there's good, 10 centimeters of sand there. It's remarkable how deep that is. And you see when the cars get stuck and they're trying to get out and they're throwing a big roost out the back, it's because they're digging. I mean, deep. It is very much a sinkhole.
Oh, and
big
JVD
rotation.
dropped it in the final corner. So slippery there, as we've seen. Kevin Darbach, who salvaged a result yesterday, ended up second in the final. After a tricky day, as I said, we'll be delighted just to have a clean run here. Was 5th fastest in the opener, just lost out on being in the second race by a few tenths of a second, and we'll be really trying to lay down a marker here.
Yeah, having a great run today. See how Darvik stacks up against the rest of the field in qualifications, the intermediate standings. Right now running a 39.636 last time by. Looks like JVD about half second off the pace. See Jonas there buried in the sand. Darby going to bring it around. About a half a lap remaining.
Now is when you really need to maximise the last couple of corners. All runs that rear wheel just into that loose dirt, but you also can gain from a bit of rotation. Crosses the line. Does Kevin Darbach on a 2:42.7 for reference. In the previous run, he did a 2:41.9, but I think the track is a little bit slower than it was earlier on today.
All right, back to the replay here. We're watching Jonas. He's gonna, looks like a little bobble there. It looked like nobody touched him. There was no contact. It looks like, oh, maybe there was a little contact. Looks like he ran into the quarter panel of JVD, and it was enough just to spin him off the track. JVD holding his line. It looked like Jonas maybe trying to tuck in behind and just clip the rear corner. So you could hear that was a loop there of JVD, just kind of out on his own. And it's that transition there from the gravel to the tarmac into that final corner. We've seen lots of spins there. Merstad spun the exact same spot yesterday, leading by himself. So it's Kevin Darbach there, taking away the victory in this qualifying session. We're going to get Jonas dug out. Look at that. Look how deep that is. Just crew's been hard at work this morning so far. Relatively uneventful yesterday, but today is we're working double time.
Mats Jonas und sein Supercar Light muss gefangen werden, respektive muss ins Fahrerlager zurückgebracht werden. Ich sehe auch jetzt den Lifter dorthin, der das Fahrzeug zurückbringt. Währenddessen gucken wir ganz kurz auf die nächste Startaufstellung.
So much damage done to Jonas. Let's see if he can come back here for the final qualifications. Look there at all the fans piling in. We got King's Day tomorrow, King's Night this evening. So we're back on the grid with another group of Supercar Lights.
And lane number 4 from Denmark, out of the team of Ulrich Lindemann, who is also here, the winner of the...
It's going to be Vittals on the inside, Ottink, Lindquist, and Mads Larsen on the outside. Mads Larsen, rough day for him yesterday.
Vittals, Ottink, Lindquist, and Larsen.
Watching Vittals and Ottink both having strong runs yesterday. Look at that. Even was Vittals and Ottink off the start. We're going to see how it goes into turn number 1. Looks like Vittals going to have the edge.
Lindqvist bails out of the throttle early, tucks back inside. That's what's got him ahead of Mads Larsen. Larsen was penalised for the spin that removed Ottink from the final yesterday. Lindqvist had a great result. Debut podium in the category in the lights class.
Nobody taking the Joker on the first lap.
Roberts Vittals, though, class of the field, on absolute pace when he's had free air. and as he should be, super experienced driver. Has won at British Championship Supercar level, has won in RX2E, was a title contender here last year. So hotly contested with Supercar Lights as a category last year in Rallyx, and just didn't quite get it across the line. Lindqvist has been a real star performer for me this weekend, stepping up from cross car, very different machines to the four-wheel drive cars, but quietly going about his business, pretty consistent, not setting the fastest laps of the weekend, but he was right up there with consistent, good, strong performance.
It's going to be interesting to see. None of these drivers have taken the Joker yet, especially Ottink, the one I'm most interested to see if he might be able to make a run on Vittels.
I think Vittels just has too much pace here for Ottink, in fairness. For me, the battle's probably between Ottink and Lindqvist. If they can mix it up a little bit just to see what's going to happen, I would send Lindqvist now, and indeed the Swede does go in. Larsen doesn't. Larsen, who's got Ulrich Lindman on the radio, they're going to be side by
look
side.
at that.
Larsen gets run into the loose gravel. I would have sent Larsen earlier than this, just to get some free air, and he's lost a bit of time there by having to avoid Lindqvist at the merge. I would have given him an opportunity to get the hammer down a bit more.
Now be watching this next time through the Joker, because so Lindqvist has taken the Joker, Ottink hasn't. They were very close heading into the last lap when Lindqvist did take the Joker. So you're going to see Ottink take it, see if he's got enough pace to keep in front.
Plenty there, I think. Lindqvist takes a big cut over the curb. There's no track limits there at all in the left-hander. Ottink's got the job done. Vittels takes the win. It's a 2:39.7. And the fastest lap of the session as well. Just a tenth quicker than Kevin Darback in the previous run.
So Vittels out front early, never looked back, pretty much his race. The battle was for second with Lindqvist and Ottink. Ottink ended up getting the best of Lindqvist. We see Mads Larsen making an effort there to make a pass through the Joker. Didn't quite work his way. With Vittels taking top honors here in Q2 Race 2. Solid effort by Vittels. Going to be tough to beat when we move to those semifinals. We're going to have one more group here to go. This is open four-wheel drive now. Got supercars on the line, FC2s, Omen, Clausen, Leighton.
Very even start between Omen and Clausen. The traditional supercar doesn't have an answer for the FC2 machines in this open four-wheel drive race. Omen, who's transitioned from open two-wheel drive to open four-wheel drive this season and is learning
a little bump,
learning his way around, just loses a bit of momentum through turn 3 and gets a nudge in the rear from Clausen. Clausen had a good run yesterday on his debut in the supercar division, but had that damage in the semi-final, I think it was from memory, and didn't get much further.
Omen's starting to get a little pressure from Clausen. We're going to see if all the way to the inside. He's going to try and make the pass through Per Eklund's corner.
Great move.
Omen off into the gravel. Beautiful pass.
Brilliant move from the local driver. Had that set up nice and early, and we were talking yesterday with Ollie Eriksson in the studio that if you want to get an overtake done, you've got to get it set up at least a corner in advance. Where you place the car, how you get the trajectory moving. And brilliant job from Clausen.
Yeah, you could see him get right up on the bumper through the chicane. Just made a beautiful pass down through Per Eklund's corner, and Omen didn't have anything to do except for back out of it or risk putting it out into the gravel. So right now it is Clausen up front. Omen now chasing him down. Clausen is just kind of checked out once he got the lead there. A little over rotation from Omen. Big drift. See, Omen's going to take the Joker. going to try and push as hard as he can, see if he can get around Clausen here on this final lap.
Clausen's got the pace though, did a 39.1 last time around. Oman's best is a 40.8 so far. No reference on this lap because of the joker, of course, for Oman, but Clausen has really got the measure of this one.
All right, so here's the one to watch. Clausen going to be going through the joker on this one. See if Oman's got anything. I don't think he's going to have the room to make anything happen.
3.1, the gap is too much, I would say, but
Oman keeping it nice and tight. Going to pull right up on the bumper Clausen, but just not going to be enough with one corner to go.
Clausen takes the race win. It's deceptive at that joker merge, isn't it? Because the car on the inside carries so much pace, you actually close onto the rear more of the car than you might have done.
It looks like there's a big gap, and by the time it plays out, there really isn't as big as you think.
But there's really no opportunity unless the driver ahead makes a mistake in the final corner. So, yeah, it's interesting, the cut and throughout the joker strategy.
Yeah, Clausen and Oman side by side right out of the gate. Oman gonna take the lead early. Clausen adding a lot of pressure, a little bump there to the back of Oman. So we see the pass set up. Clausen down to the bottom through Periklin's corner. Gonna beautiful bit of racecraft there by Clausen to take the victory. Gonna be very happy with that result. Light in there, we saw he kind of got off into the gravel there through the joker section. So we're going to go back. This is going to be another qualifying session for our Supercars, open four-wheel drive.
So no thumbs up. Still wait.
Cerna on the inside. Nason going to be in the second spot. Darbic in the third spot. Janssen in the final spot in P4.
Someone in the YouTube comments asks what Victor Franks is doing this year. Of course, Victor won twice here at the Euro Circuit last season. Victor's actually spotting for Clausen in the open four-wheel drive category this weekend, so using that experience, putting it to good use.
A few seconds to go.
The Dutch flag is waved, so that the drivers know now.
Dutch flag waving. Cerna on the inside. Casper Janssen, rough day for Casper yesterday. Had some pace, just things didn't get put together.
Brilliant start for Robert Cerna on the inside. Janssen gets forced wide in there into the gravel. It's another victim of the Euro Circuit sand traps. Casper Janssen, the reigning FC2 champion, won't be coming out of there. Oh, and the door's been left open into turn 3.
Cerna getting pushed out.
Nason gets the job done, so brilliant job from him into the joker for Robert Cerna. That'll be a driver decision rather than a spotter decision, because the spotters, as you said earlier on, are unsighted here, aren't they? And it's also very difficult to call, make a spotter call between turn 3 and the joker entry, because it's such a short period of track. So Cerna will have made that call on his own, I would imagine, having been muscled out of the way.
And it looked like even if he wanted to get back and take the main line, I don't know that he was able to get the car back. It looked like it was just drifting to the outside, and he just kind of went with it. But like you had said, we were up in the spotters tower. It's actually very blind through that section. So spotter, to make the call, has to do it at the very last second.
Nason out front has done a 39.9.
Oh, big contact there. That was Cerna getting bumped.
And a spin in the background for Nason. Absolutely classic, though. I looked at the timing screen just at the wrong moment, so I'll have to see a replay of that to work out what happened. But
it was very similar to the situation earlier where Cerna had the speed on the main line, just got into contact with the guy down low in the joker, Nason. So
yeah, and there's the damage on the Swedes FC2. It's been a dramatic one. Darback, the benefactor, although yet to joker, so Cerna on a 38.8. That's the fastest lap we've seen in an open four-wheel drive so far in Q2. He's on a big old push and closing the gap. What is it this time around? A 38.517. So Cerna is on a big push and is actually not close enough to Darback for Darback to hold him up at all. Darback will joker this time around, and Serna will, without dramas, take the lead.
Look at Serna really catching up on Darback. Darback, he's going to go to the outside. Serna going to be the inside. Serna through the main line. He's going to have plenty of speed. Seals the victory with 2 corners to go. Great use of the joker by Serna early on, even though he was forced to take it. It's going to be top honors here in this qualifying session.
Did cost him time though, didn't it? And of course, this is all based on time, so you want to have the cleanest runs you can. A 2:38.304 is the time, which is some 5 seconds quicker than the previous time of Klaassen.
So here's Casper on the outside. This is the incident. Looked like Nason, just a racing incident. Looked like they just briefly touched, and
I'd say the wheels just made a bit of contact there, and that's
and it just
speared Janssen off. I think that's just a turn 1.
The thing is you know, Casper Janssen's car doesn't look like it had any damage. I think he was just stuck. So we might see him back in the next session.
Oh, for sure we will, and they're very modular, the FC2s. Let's have a look back then at what happens here. So this is Serna in the joker.
That's
on lap 1. This is Nathan responding on the second lap. This is where I looked away, and they are side by side. Oh, that's difficult to call, isn't it? Lots of damage on the car on the inside. You do have to give way in theory. The trajectory is a bottleneck there. I wonder if Reiners Nittis can hear us as we're watching these replays. What's the decision? I guess the first corner is just a first corner incident, from what we've seen at least.
Yeah, turn 1 is racing incident, so the car inside was a little bit sideways and hit the front right of the car who went wide. But other situation I have to check. See if we see drone shot now on slow motion. It seems that the car inside was turning left. That corner goes right, but when the driver sees the car going round outside, he turns steering to the left, which is not okay for me. So yeah, can we ask a drone shot from the accident?
Maybe we can see that. I wonder if Cala producer has got that potential. Maybe we can look at it in a bit.
Looks like we are going to get that shot.
Fantastic. So we're going to see this again.
And if you make it a little bit slower, so the car inside, yeah, and look, he's turned to the left. Now, bum. For me, like those details are not acceptable. But yeah, I have to think. If you go again and you see it again, you will see that he turns left. So yeah, I will think about decision, but this is not okay.
So this is the instant that Reiners is talking about, and he's saying that the driver on the inside has made a little turn to the left there.
He just briefly, but it was enough that it spun Serna just sideways a bit. So
thank you again, Reiners. Amazing insight as always. We'll leave you to it to make your decisions, but yeah, and it's those details that he's looking at in such a refined way, whereas we're getting all excited and talking about the drama that's unfolding on the track. He's looking at the steering inputs, where the car's placed on the track to make those decisions.
Okay, so another round of open four-wheel drive supercars. Got some heavy hitters on the line, a couple of Ericsson entries, Oliver and Kevin. Got Nicholas Grunholm and Anderson there on the outside, all 4 of these drivers. Very fast. Lucas Anderson been very impressive this weekend.
Has indeed. Ollie Eriksson on the inside of Anderson there. I'm not entirely sure which of the 2 OMC cars it is up front at the moment. It is
Kevin.
Kevin Eriksson out front. So it's Kevin from Oliver, from Lucas Anderson, from Nicholas Grunholm. I'd imagine Grunholm or joker this time around if Anderson doesn't. Now, Nicholas nearly changed his mind there, but couldn't because the momentum was going into the joker section. That's not ideal for Nicholas Grunholm.
Now, you know, Lucas did last second took it, and I think Grunholm had already committed to it, tried to back out of it, didn't have enough time, and just got hung out to dry. So this is unfortunate for Nicholas Grunholm.
Kevin Eriksson, who was fastest in free practice yesterday, having never raced here before. He only walked the track once. He was fastest in free practice again this morning, but it was his brother, Ollie Eriksson, that went round of Kevin in turn 1. But now Kevin's got the advantage. Ollie's jokering. This is to try and get the undercut on Kevin. Kevin for sure will respond if he thinks Ollie's got more lap time pace in him.
Yeah, that was a great use of the joker by Oliver Eriksson. I think this is going to be tight when we see them come back. And obviously we got Lucas Anderson there in the 3rd spot. He's also taken the Joker. So right now it's all when is Kevin Eriksson going to pull the trigger.
And if anything, Lucas Anderson's going to help Kevin Eriksson here, not because he intends to, but because he's just going to hassle the... Oh, Nicholas Gronholm stopped there on the inside of the circuit, but Anderson in the mirrors of Ollie Eriksson is going to distract him a little bit.
A little mistake there out of Oliver Eriksson. A little bobble there in the corner. Looks like he got over-rotated. Great use of the Joker by Kevin Eriksson. Because of the mistake by Oliver, he's going to have clean sailing. So I think there's something happening there with Oliver's car. You look, and it's very loose. He's starting to over-rotate a lot in the corners, which is not typical of him.
Yellow flag out for Gronholm's stricken machine. No overtaking, but the gaps are pretty consistent now, aren't they? Fastest lap of the race so far for Lucas Anderson on a 37.3. That is significantly quicker than the previous fastest lap by Robert Cerner. In fact, everyone in this race, all top 3 drivers are in the 37s comfortably. 37.5 for Kevin Eriksson, who was going to drive to the line. Ollie sideways again, as you say, Jim, through the final corner. Kevin Eriksson, though, drives for the line, stops the clock with a 2:34.7. That will be the fastest time by some 4 seconds. Good job, though, from Cerner, who went only 4 seconds slower, despite the dramas he had in the previous race.
Gonna get a look here at the replay. That is Kevin Eriksson leading. His brother Oliver putting a lot of pressure on him. All the way up to the rear bumper, ends up drifting out, deciding to take the Joker. We thought a wise use of the Joker. Gets that clean air. Just wasn't able to chase his brother down, and Kevin Eriksson, top honors. Race number 3 at Q2, open four-wheel drive supercar.
Eriksson fastest, Ollie second. That's the reverse of the positions in Q1, so they'll be tied at the top. Whoever takes top honours of those two, with Gronholm in a bit of strife, will be top at intermediate.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be one of the storylines of this one. What happened to Gronholm? He's obviously got the pace to win here, but now he's going to be, regardless, starting a little bit worse in the semifinals.
Well, all we can do is go and find out. We'll pop into the paddock and have a chat with some drivers. Come back very soon for Q3.
mit Reini Snitches, der als Rennleiter, als Rallye-Leiter hier im Rahmen der Rallyx bei den Rallyx-Veranstaltungen immer dabei ist, der ein ganz kleines persönliches Gesumme neben gelesen hat, der nämlich sagt, so,
all right, and we are back, ready to go again. This is going to be Cross Kart Junior, the final qualifying heat of the day. Race number 1, heat number 3, Junior Cross Kart. Mertens, Van Gorp, and Tovio in this one.
So it's still open due to the fact the result of the second qualification of the...
Just a few moments away. We've got them on the grid. We're looking for that Dutch flag to come out at some point. It signals a few seconds before we go.
And even Nathan from Sweden. So we're waiting for the official result of the open forward drive for the result of the qualification heat number 2 to get results into the...
Tovio finishing 5th yesterday. Best of this group yesterday. Look at that, Tovio on the outside. Big jump on the field.
Tovio had that issue in Q2 we saw in the highlights package, although we didn't watch the race live. Clearly had a spin and did indeed lose some time, so great start here, and now is when you need a really solid result just to see you through that.
Looks like Mertens struggling a little bit, just can't get going. Had a bad start and way off the pace. There's got to be something going on with that car.
Tovio second quickest in Q1 this morning, wildly sideways on the exit of the final turn, and then was a DNF in Q2. So needs a good time here. Still at the moment 6th overall, but you need to be in the top 4 really if you want to be on the front row for the semi-finals, which is so important with the staggered grid for the knockout races later on. 2 semi-finals in Cross Kart Junior, remember, as is the case in all of the categories except Open 2-wheel drive, which has 3 semi-finals given the magnitude of the entry this weekend. Tovio into the Joker, early doors, gets the job done. Now it's all about just trying to nail the lap times.
Yeah, Tovio through the chicane there, up through Per Eklund's corner. 2 laps to go. Still has to take, has taken the Joker, so this one's just...
He's just about chasing the clock now.
Yeah.
For the young Finn.
Yeah, Mertens still hasn't taken the Joker. I've just been off the pace from the drop of the green flag. Don't know what's going on. Tovio definitely been the class of the field there. There's the 88 of Van Gorp, currently in 2nd spot. They're on that main line. They're gonna be looking for the white flag.
You know, we don't actually have a white flag in Europe, and Ken Block fell foul of that when he came to Loic for the first time. I remember it well. He did 3 events in 2014, and on one occasion I think he finished early or didn't take the joker. I think he didn't joker, perhaps. My memory's struggling a bit here because it was a long time ago and I've seen a lot of rallycross since then. But the scenario was that something happened, and his reason was, well, he was waiting for the white flag and it never came because we don't have it. But you have that in basically all American racing.
Pretty much all motorsport in the United States, and I believe Canada as well, is the white flag comes out, which signals 1 lap to go. So I keep saying that white flags. A lot of the European listeners are probably like, what is Jim talking about? Well,
they like that with me as well.
Yeah, in North America, it's that signals 1 lap to go. So all the drivers know there's 1 left in the session. So I keep saying that. When I do say that, it means 1 to go in my mind.
That's interesting. I love those synergies between how we all do basically the same thing, but in slightly different ways.
Yeah, and I actually think it would be North America because I believe Mexico's the same way. So, but right here, the 66 of Tovio just got the jump, and that was pretty much the race right there. There was not much more anybody could do. Number 15 there, Mertens, just off the pace a bit in this session, but the number 66 taking the checkered flag. Tovio going to score some very strong points.
2:49.8 for Tovio. and that is the fastest time of the day so far. That's not to say it won't be beaten in the following races, but that was quicker than the best times in Q1 or Q2.
I think as this one plays out, CrossCart Junior, Tovio is going to be there right towards the top.
You may be able to hear engine noise in the background. They've got Nicholas Gronholm's car fired back up from open four-wheel drive, and I think now they're trying to establish what happened because it cut out on him. I'm sure they'll get that sorted.
All right, so we've got Lapati, Van Glabik, Hoeka, and Isik Setra. Been working on that one. They're on the outside road in this fourth spot. So all four of these drivers, strong runs yesterday.
Finally, Hoeka has a good start, and it's a really good start from P3. Will it be enough to get around the outside in the first corner? Still trying is the young Finn sideways, and drops it into the gravel, and that is definitely not coming out of there with only rear-wheel drive. What a shame for Hoeka, because actually the start was probably the best we've seen him execute so far here at the Euro Circuit.
All right, we're going to see if anybody decides to pull the trigger on the Joker on this one. Does look like somebody is at Lapati, I believe, took the Joker.
Hoeka had gone quickest in Q1 earlier on, and then
look how deep that was buried.
Yeah, that's not coming out of there.
So Van Glabik leading, Lapati in second, Isik Setra in third. Oh, look at that, a lot of dust. Was there a bump?
Lapati just ran wide on the exit of the chicane. Bit of a difficult one that for Sebastian Isik Setra, who will have had to have bailed out the throttle a bit because of the wave yellow flag for Hoeka. That's given a bit of a reprieve for Lapati to not get past. Lost a bit of time though, so Glabik, Jokers, this is going to be tight at the merge.
Very tight.
Lapati got the job done around the outside, no contact. Yet again, the junior drivers proving that you can make overtakes at the Joker merge without running into each other. Good job from them.
Look at Isik Setra coming on very strong here, trying to set something up. Got a lot of speed around the outside. Going to go to the bottom. Oh, was there contact?
Glabik came over a little bit. Isik Setra made a big input in avoidance, goes for another big input. It's got to go try the outside, just nudges into the wall, loses all the momentum.
It almost looked like it's going for a Scandinavian flick there.
Didn't it? And then the nose just kept going too deep and ran wide.
Trying to get that weight transfer in the big rotation, and it just didn't work in his favor, but looked like the initiation was right, it just didn't come through.
Do you call it a Scandinavian flick back home?
Yeah, that's what we call them, Scandinavian flicks. There's different names for it, but most people I know call it that.
Yeah, same here, absolutely. Hoeka's car is well buried there on the outside. That's
well, the tires are so small in these CrossCart Juniors that you get there and it was almost buried over the top of the tire.
So Lapati's best lap is a 43.486. That is miles away from the best lap of fellow Finn Tovio in the last race, 41.0. But what is the overall time going to be? Crosses the line. Glabik sideways across the line. Isik Setra has actually done the fastest lap of this race in the final tour on a 42.6. That's a bit of frustration showing, I'd have thought. But a 2:57.4 is a huge amount of time away from the best time for Tovio. I think Tovio may be on for a session win here, but we'll have to wait for the next race to unfold. And
there's Hoeka, kind of backing it in, and that's a rough one. Sees the battle through here. It's one of the big passes when Lapati got around Van Glabik. That was all she wrote. The checker comes out. Lapati with the win. CrossCart Junior qualifies in session 3. This is race number 2. I got a Hoeka's car pulled out. No damage to the car, just buried very deep in the sand trap there. Uh-oh, we got the The strap broke off the car.
In der Gruppe der schnellsten Fahrer aus den drei Vorläufen, oder besser aus dem letzten Vorlauf. Sprich, ist in der Gruppe, die dann vielleicht nachher im Finale oder besser vorher im Finale die besten Platzierungen kloppen können. Alex Antila auf Bahn Nummer 3, auf Bahn Nummer 2 Luis Ramakas.
There we go. Hookah finally out of the sand trap. We'll see that car in action in the semifinals. One of the faster drivers going to be starting towards the back. Gronholm's car once again. They are getting started up. So we get a look here at the fans pulling in. Getting ready for this King's Night tonight, followed by King's Day tomorrow here in the Netherlands. Big weekend of racing and celebrations. This is Crosscar Junior. Race 3, Clausen, Ramakers, Antilla, and Mirosniks. All right, Dutch flag waving. Looking for Clausen on the inside. Be one of the faster ones in this heat. Oh, little jump. Looks like we're gonna have to regroup them here.
Everything down to 0. Everything calm down. Everybody's down. So it was classical.
Yeah, that was
Mirosniks
on the outside. Peter, the legend Hellman's just come and fixed the timing screen, so that's improved matters significantly. I can stop writing everything down now. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, for those of you sitting at home, Hal's been doing the Lord's work over here, just continually writing. A journalism background,
yes,
it's coming in handy. Oh, his hand's going to get a rest now.
The trouble is understanding your own writing, but that's another issue. Pim Clausen on the inside, brilliant performance so far this weekend. They'll all need to be wary not to jump this time around. Great start from Clausen on the inside. Interesting watching Ramakers change gear there to second. Just watch the nose of the buggy drop.
Whoa, way wide there.
Contact in the background. So that is the Latvian. Oh, is that going to come out? Yes, great job. Well
Stayed
done.
in it. Nice job, young driver.
Still got 2 jokers to do, so that hasn't helped Mirosnik's cause at all. But good job to get out of the gravel, and ultimately you want to finish the race because a slow time is better than a DNF.
Yeah.
And for all of these young drivers, they just need track time, don't they? That's how you gain the experience. So you're learning nothing sat in the gravel trap.
It looked like Antilla there taking the joker, trying to create a little bit of gap to our leaders, which is Clausen and Ramakers. So Pim Clausen and Ramakers, 1 and 2.
You always know the nationalities of drivers competing in a race by looking behind us in the commentary position, because usually they're compatriots, be that mechanics or other people working in the paddock, just appear to watch their driver.
That's one thing I love, one about the studio setup here, but just the atmosphere in general of Rallyx with the open paddock, and you get fans, you get other teams, everybody's looking in. Like we heard Gronholm's car in the background. It's kind of a thing of beauty. You don't get that in a lot of motorsport.
Clausen jokers from the lead. That, I guess, was to cover off Antilla. And I would assume that Clausen didn't really know where Antilla was, and it's safer then knowing that if the driver behind you is very close, you can joker into that gap behind and try and cover off Antilla, because Antilla was 3rd overall coming into this session. I'm going to look away now, so there'll probably be a massive incident on 82 points. So actually Antilla was 10 points behind Pim Clausen in the overall standing. So Clausen just needs to keep it clean here to secure top spot and pole position for the semis.
Ramaker's going to take the joker on that one, going to cede the position there to Pim Clausen. Tim Clausen now with the big, whoa, look at that, out through the sand trap. That's going to allow Antilla to get around Rawmakers. Mistake there in that final corner. Going to cost Antilla a position.
Shame for the Belgian driver who'd done a load of hard work there. Slightly got undone. Antilla running second now under pressure from the Belgian. Frustrating after you've made a mistake like that. You need to keep your head and not make another one while trying to make up for lost time.
All right, so this is the final lap. Kim Clausen going to take away the victory. It's going to be Antilla and Rawmakers there.
But not the fastest time. Just missed out on the fastest lap of the race, or by several tenths actually in the end. 2:51.4 for Clausen is not enough to beat the time set by Tovio in the opening race. And that would have brought Tovio right back into at least the top 4, I would say, for semi-final starting positions. We'll have to see how the intermediate classification unfolds.
There we see the Joker by the number 34. It's pretty much going to seal the race there. Tim Clausen with the victory. Antilla there at the line. Little bobble. Still enough for second place. So Crosscar Junior, race 3, qualification session 3. It's going to be Clausen on top, Antilla and Rawmakers there in the 3rd spot. Mirosnik's with the jump and then saw it in the sand trap, had to take the 2 Jokers. Rough session. Going to finish up in the 4th spot. All right, so we've got another session here. It's going to be Crosscar. We're off and racing.
What a start from Ricky Huka from P2 on the grid. Almost popped a wheelie as we've seen so often in Rallyx history, and has taken a massive advantage through the first corner.
I'm trying to get shut down there for the corner. Van Wijlen there in the 2nd spot. Started on the pole. Huka just shot out of a cannon.
Great launch, wasn't it? You just got it absolutely hooked up. Well, hardly any wheel spin, I would suggest. It was just that perfect window of finding the grip you need.
Van Wijlen hasn't made any mistakes, just Huka's been that much faster.
Great job from him. Fastest lap of the race so far.
We've got Timmermans, Van Grieken also in the running here in 3rd and 4th, but right now Huka out front.
I can't actually remember what happened to Huka in Q2 in the highlights package, but clearly didn't have the kind of pace we would expect. Down in 10th, was 6th in Q1 earlier on. Huka's the sort of driver that could do very well in this class if it could be all strung together. Hasn't completed in full seasons throughout his Rallyx journey. A lot of the Finns have military service they have to undertake at different times, so quite a few of the Finnish drivers disappear for a period of time.
Huka getting it through the corner there. Huka taking quite a bit different lines than the rest of the field, especially on the tarmac sections, carrying a lot more speed, so the line choice is a little bit different.
Timmermans with the fastest lap so far, 39.0.
Timmerman's the only one that hasn't taken a Joker yet. Oh, we got a spin there in the back. I believe that was Van Grieken.
It was, yeah. There's a puncture there as well, I think. Maybe a bit of contact was there. I didn't actually see that. Oh, and Timmermans has run wide on the exit of the first corner into this final tour and is now under big pressure from Van Wijlen.
Huka going to take the checkered flag. Great race by Huka. I can't wait to watch that restart on the replay package.
Just got it absolutely hooked up.
Yeah, just absolutely hooked up in the number 2. So we're gonna get a look here, and look at that. Hookah just carrying the front wheels off the ground.
Wheelie time.
Even through that first corner, every time I hit the gas, the front end almost coming off the ground.
And that's a great example as to why they're so hard to get turned in, these things, unless you make an aggressive input on the entry, because there's no weight in the front. So if you get understeer, there's just no way of solving that problem.
So you look here at the finish. Hookah taking top honors. This one of the drivers spun there, Van Grieken. So, Hookah, great effort. Taking away top honors, it's going to be tough to beat in the semifinals. Moving on to more cross-cart entries here. This is going to be race number 2, Q3, final qualifying session. Vlasic, Isicsetra, Placheta, and Bex. Watching Bex on the outside here. Isicsetra been very fast as well.
Isicsetra makes the best of the starts from P2 and is going to shut the door into
Bex.
the first corner.
Some contact there with Isicsetra.
Oh, Bex is going to get up the inside though. An outside-inside move for Bex, is it? Yes, it is. Great job.
A little more contact. We got
debut season for Dan Bex in the cross car category. He's raced a lot in Super National here in the Belnen region, Belgium and the Netherlands, but cross car is completely new to him and doing a great job. Son of Christoph Bex, I believe, from Open Two-Wheel Drive, so clearly there's some good lineage in the family.
Racing in the blood. So it is Bex, Vlasic, Isicsetra, and Placheta, your running order. Looks like Beck's going to get a little pressure. We're going to see Vlasic take the joker. Going to give up the second spot to Isicsetra. All right, so Bex, Isicsetra, Vlasic, your running order. Placheta in the 4th spot. Both Vlasic and Placheta have taken the joker.
Vlasic, the reigning champion here in Holland, the Netherlands, so knows this place very well indeed. Isicsetra, meanwhile, had never been here before today, even though he's done a lot of Rallyx and international rallycross in general over the last few years. Bex is going to get done here by Isicsetra, who's yet to joker. Yeah, Bex has held on to second, I think. Yes, indeed, just ahead of Vlasic. Isicsetra yet to joker, but is only 0.5 of a second ahead, so this will get gobbled right up. He's going to be at least 3rd at the joker merge, if not 4th, I would say, because Placheta is only 1.4 behind.
It's a very tight race here. All right, so our leader's going to take the joker. Isicsetra to the outside. Trio of cross carts now. And as you said, cycles back to 4th. That's tough, 1st to 4th.
Interesting strategy to say it as long as he did, but clearly the pace has been good as well. Vlasic takes the race win, a 2:41.0. That is significantly slower than Rikke Hookar went in the previous race on a 2:39.1. There was a lot of battling in this one.
There was a lot of
battling.
battling.
A clean run.
Just going to look back at some of the action. Little touch there right off the start. Got a 3-way with Bex, Placheta, and Vlasic there. Bex now getting a lot of pressure. going to get around, and it's going to push Etc. all the way to the back. There's the moment when it pushed him all the way to the back. That's going to give us Vlasic, Bex, Placheta, Etc. That is going to be your finishing order here in race number 2 of cross car. Got another group of cross cars on the line. Race number 3. Eek Merstad, Svedland, cross car junior champ from last year. Tree, yesterday's winner. Van Hoof on the outside. All 4 of these drivers very, very fast this weekend. Eek Merstad wanting a little redemption from yesterday. Leading, had that spin all on his own. Tree, the beneficiary, winning yesterday.
Great start from Eek Merstad. Fastest in both sessions so far today, under big pressure from one of the new stars of cross car. We could have predicted that even before the weekend, couldn't we, in Carl Svedland, the reigning junior champion. It's Vettel, Tree and Van Hoof in the background, the joker at this opening opportunity. Svedland, though, shadowed Eek Merstad timing-wise through both of the opening sessions, and doing similar here so far.
Just a little mistake yesterday for Svedland prevented him from making the final, but somebody that had the speed, I think we'll definitely see him possibly in the final today. Just a bit of bad luck, but
that's the thing, you just never know, do you? Because one tiny mistake can cost you dearly, certainly at the semi-final stage.
And probably would have been, I think Svedland had a chance at the front row in the main or in the final, and just had a mistake in the semifinal, prevented him from transferring through. Somebody we probably would have thought was a shoe-in, but
and it's all those wrong moments, wrong time situations. If you make that mistake now, you lose a couple of places, it doesn't really matter. You lose make that mistake in the final, you lose our position. It's so costly in the semis.
Yeah, well, and Eek Merstad leading in a commanding lead yesterday, all on his own, spun in that final corner, and you know, that's one of those that as a race car driver, you know, you gave away the win. It sits in the back of your head for a while.
Yeah, he'll be so pleased that there's another opportunity today, because it's a long drive back to Norway knowing that you've dropped it on your own. Different if someone's fired you off, at least you can be annoyed at them until the next round. Eek Merstad's taking the joker. This is to cover off Vettel Tree, who he'll know is strong. And also just to keep a watching brief on Carl Svedland, the other JC driver in this race.
Yeah, so Svedland going to have to take the joker this time by. Eek Merstad should get by. Tree may get by as well. Going to have to watch here. They are very close to Svedland. He might be giving up 2 spots. Oh, just inched by was Tree. So it is going to be Eek Merstad, Tree, Svedland in the 3rd spot. All 3 drivers very close in that one. Van Hoof going to settle for 4th.
And all 3 go to the top of the order. In fact, all 4 go to the top of the order. 2:39.145 for Van Hoof is still better than the 2:39.155 of Riku Hukart from race 1. So that was a quick one. And that was a tight joker merge, wasn't it, between the teammates in Tree and Svedland. That's the sort of tight joker merge you definitely don't want with your teammate.
No, not at all. This is Eek Merstad. Had to take the joker there. Allowed Svedland to get around just briefly. Let's come into this corner. You're going to see Svedland take the joker. It's going to allow Eek Merstad to get around. Tree get around as well. Svedland was going to cycle back to 3rd place, which brings us to our results for Q3, race 3 of cross car. Eek Merstad, top honors. Vettel Tree 2nd, Svedland in 3rd. All right, now we're moving into open 2-wheel drive. And look at that, Victor Johansson got it back together. That is exciting news for everybody here.
This is a battle of those that lost out or were penalised in the previous session. Libman there who crashed out after that contact with Wallach. Wallach was disqualified and is now on the outside. Oh, Victor Johansson sideways out of the opening corner. Wonder if he's got an issue with the big Mercedes.
It was a heavy impact he took. I mean, to get it turned around that quick is very. I don't want to say I didn't see that one coming, but there was a lot of damage to the front of that. But like you said, it might have been cosmetic.
I think a lot of it was, which is fortuitous for him. Takes the joker on this opening lap. The car looks a little bit wayward to me, but this is important. This run to try and get through to the semi-finals, given the strength and depth of the entry here, and then he'll hope that he can use the prowess of that big Mercedes to get him forward in the semis.
So Lidman leading. Wallach in the second spot. Victor Johansson after that big incident in the third. That is going to be Wallach sliding out to take the joker. Verbucht in the fourth spot. Very large lead for Lidman, with Wallach taking the joker. Johansson and Verbucht also taking the joker, so we're going to see Lidman with 2 to go. Going to take the joker at some point. I can see it happening this time. He's got a big gap over the field. So Lidman with a big lead over Wallach. We're going to see he comes out of this very tight corner. Is he going to drift to the outside? He does. So Lidman taking the joker on this one. I don't think Wallach's going to have enough. Nope, Lidman's going to have first place. We're going to have 1 lap to go here as Lidman leading Wallach. Victor Johansson a distant third.
Definitely carrying some sort of issue, Johansson. That'll be a legacy, I've no doubt, of what went on earlier, but damage limitation, you're so much better off getting into the race. You never know what's going to happen.
Oh, look at that. Wallach out through the sand pit. Nobody hit him. I don't know what happened. That was just he drifted wide, and wow, that was a big mistake for Wallach, which allows Victor Johansson to kind of get back in this big spin there.
Another mistake for Wallach. I wonder if he's got an issue, maybe a hanging throttle or something. Just surprising to make 2 such mistakes in a couple of corners, but you can get frustrated and they can exacerbate themselves as Lidman drives for the line. Stops the clock on a 2:50.4.
Victor Johansson going to get the second spot after battling back. Wallach going to come back with third after those 2 big incidents there. Verbucht, Fabian Verbucht, going to be in the 4th spot. So this is early on. This is Victor Johansson. Get a little squirrely there. It's going to allow Wallach to get by. There's Wallach.
Wallach opened the steering there, so I wonder if something happened and maybe there was more damage than we thought. It looked like he'd got it turned in and got the job done, because that was on the exit where it just went wide.
Here's the other incident. Wallach just big over rotation.
Wallach did indeed do the fastest lap of the race, but wasn't to be come the end. There's confirmation of the result, and a 2:50.4 would have given the fastest time in the previous session. So we'll see how that slots in through this huge grid of open 2-wheel drives in Q3.
Garvelink on the inside, Collagen, Hermans, Van Holst. See those front wheel drives just digging there, trying to get going.
But it is with the second breath, it is of course good governing. So now you can see if you're going to buy this car is probably a car which you can use for.
Trying him shut down. It's front wheel drive cars. It's Van Holst, the total car, trying to get things rotated. Up. Van Holst last second decides to opt for the joker. Create a little bit of space. He was kind of riding on the bumper there of the 74. All right, so running order here after lap 1. Garvelink with the lead. Colin in the second spot in the number 74. Both lead drivers haven't taken the joker yet. Van Holst and Hermans have both taken the Joker. They're back in 3rd and 4th spot, but with the way Van Holst is pressuring second, I think he's got a shot to get that position back when the Joker's taken.
Someone's got an engine misfire. I think I could hear it in the background from the commentary position. So I wonder if that's what's slowing Hermans at the back of the pack. It's quite some way off the pace of what we've seen so far. No such problems for the race leader though.
No, Garvelink just a very commanding lead. Still going to have to take the Joker, but he's got a big gap. I mean, we're talking seconds back to second, third.
2 seconds, the open two-wheel drive. Joker Delta-ish, and a 4.8 second advantage is absolutely plenty. I would still take it now, though, as I've said all weekend, just to get out of the way.
If you've got the time and it's early in the race, take it and get it out of the way.
Just to mitigate for any issue you might have. If you pick up a problem, you can defend, can't you? But if you pick up a problem and then you've got to take an alternative route, then you made the job a lot harder for yourself. A puncture or, you know, anything like that.
All right, so we're going to have 1 to go. Garvelink has taken the Joker. Big lead here. Right now, the battle back there for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Got a 3-way battle.
41.4 best lap. For Garvelink is just a 10th shy of what Eric Lidman did in the previous race. So good pace running out front. Or defending here, the 2 front-wheel drive cars.
Look at that. Is that Hermans from the back?
Herman's trying to do both of them. And he's actually going to do neither because there's just no traction there on the outside, as Bart Bell, who joined us in Q2, consistently referenced. It's almost impossible to go around the outside.
That's going to bring out the checker. Garvelink, the victor in this one. Got out front early, kept it clean. Going to wrap up race number 2 as we go back to the replay. Garvelink with the lead early. Really just never looked back from the start. Beautiful race, no big mistakes. Battling in the mid-pack. Hermans decided to jump out, take the Joker. Pressure was put, but at the end of the day, it was all Garvelink with the victory here in race number 2. Garvelink, Cullen, Van Holst, and Hermans. That's going to be the way they finish there in 2-wheel drive. Race number 2, Q3. See how that sets them up for the semifinals. So we got some track crews out on course, trying to do some cleanup.
Long time ago, but still well remembered. The car, the white and blue color.
I think that's Colin's car behind, isn't it? Just stopped in the background, getting a toe in.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see who it is.
Wonder if that was the misfire I heard, or maybe that was just a ghost in the system.
Doesn't look like it. No, not pulling. Oh, he is pulling a car. You couldn't see it. It was blocked. That's the Colin, 74.
Was the car, not the driver. Big applause for the guys here at the who are helping the drivers to release their cars out of the track into the paddock.
So they're still doing some tuning on Grunholm's car behind us here in the booth. So we got another group of 2-wheel drives on the line. This is race 3. Thielen, Hendricks, Ertz, the Hulk, Geenan, going to be your 5 drivers.
Race number 3 in the open touring line.
Ertz going to have another rocket of a start.
Massive accident there in the first corner. That is a huge shunt for Hendricks in the front wheel drive machine. That will be a red flag for sure. Just got pushed into the wall on the inside. We've seen that several times in the past.
Catastrophic there. I mean,
just as we were raving about how good the start was from the Ford Escort, Bart Bell telling us earlier on that historically that car's been recently restored, was a brilliant starting machine.
Oh, good.
What brilliant scenes to see Hendricks get out looking a little bit sore, but that was a huge accident.
Yeah, you don't see accidents like that. I mean, went from that inside wall, spun all the way across the sand trap, as we're going to get another look here. Did the Hulk cut across?
Minor contact really, wasn't it? But enough just to be forced into the tie wall. Almost took the drone out as well.
Wow.
It actually looked lots worse from the drone shots than it was in reality. It didn't go over, but
yes, big spin, and
it's high speed there to have a sudden stop.
Yeah, that was very fast and very slow in a hurry. All right, one more look at this. Hendricks.
Oh, that's a classic squeeze. So what's happened is Hendricks has got that little bit further ahead of Thielen, so that when he's being pushed across as the wheels come off, you get rotation around the front of the car, don't you? And you're just an absolute passenger at that stage. I wonder if we can have a word with Rallyx Knitters. I think that is a difficult one to call if Rallyx is looking at it. Typical first corner incident here at the Euro Circuit. Rallyx, are you busy? Are you available?
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
What's your thought there, Rallyx, on that incident?
It's really hard to call this one. It looked worse than it looked at the beginning when everything started. But yeah, I have to see the replays more and more. For sure, it was one car from the outside squeezing it in, but also inside car never brake. So and then it flipped front of the car behind on the right. So it's just carnage. I cannot really say if I can penalize someone, but yeah, it looked bad.
So we've both been in these situations, you far more than I. This is why your experience is so necessary, isn't it? So because this happens so fast, and for anyone that hasn't been in a car like this, it's quite difficult to explain. That scenario happened within a second, with one car moving across the other car, then collecting the rear quarter. It needs someone of your experience to try and make a judgment on that incident. Would you agree? So I think we've lost Rallyx.
Yeah, I see video when you're talking, and I don't hear anything from you. But
you do your job, and we'll catch up with you in a bit.
No, but you know, like you were saying, Hal, and I agree. You know, Rallyx has spent a lot of time behind the wheel of a lot of different race cars, and have somebody like that be able to look at things. I mean, you know, earlier, you know, with the collision coming out of the Joker, it was, you know, I didn't see it. It took to slow it down. It was something Rallyx caught right off the bat, where you see just the nose kind of flick to the left, just to air enough to spin somebody. And it takes somebody with that expert eye to be able to see things like that.
Signs to the drivers who are in the next race. It's Johnny Vergoering and Peter McGarry, Martijn van Over with the BMW 1M, and Michael Abelweitze. So Concrete and Hulk and Don Ertz are passing by on the green here beside the start area. Now they do kind of a ballet. Nice one. Stafene. Yeah, they're parked beside each other. Go away from the warming up the tire for Nick Nates with his Ford Escort. Johnny Vergoering from Belgium. from Ireland with the parts for cars, i.e. the internet page and reseller. Nicely, the Lexus team system of the rear-wheel drive VW Polo. Martijn van Over. He's going a tiny little back. I need a bit more space to warm up the tires, is Martijn thinking about. Yeah, a lot of anti-lag pumping out of the exhaust. And last but not least, the well-running BMW
Heat 3, race 4 in open two-wheel drive here at the Euro Circuit on the outskirts of Valkenswaard. Historically, this was a summer round of the European Championship. Back in the day, certainly when I was racing, you'd do Belgium one weekend, stay in a campsite down the road from Valkenswaard and race here the next weekend. And it's a lovely summer, early summer weekend here, even if the temperatures are a bit chilly in the morning and the evenings. And this race has got some names in it that perhaps hope to be higher up. McGarry in the middle. Neyens won the last one despite a bit of action in his race. Actually beat McGarry, didn't he, at the Joker merge. Let's see how this one plays out.
Yeah, Kernighan has been pretty quick, and Hove as well. McGarry's just had rough luck all weekend.
Very even initial start. McGarry with the second gear absolutely flies away from the pack with the turbocharged Honda engine. Neyens up the inside from pole. McGarry again with a whole shot and comfortably in the lead in the run down to turn 3.
But I feel like for McGarry, you want to be up front like that. He's been in the back and had all kinds of problems. You know, people hit him, contact, all kinds of incidents. You want to be up front and just get away from everybody.
Very clear last time and then just lost out late on to Neyens into the Joker for the first time with the BMW, but the other BMW of Van Hove is on the back of this leading trio. It's dropped off a bit actually. Commentators curse, I'm afraid. But Johnny Verkerningen returning to open two-wheel drive as opposed to open four-wheel drive supercar. He was in last year with his Scirocco. Had some issues that weekend, the gold dealer, so he's back in two-wheel drive machinery. Neyens looks like he will Joker this time around, does indeed, with the updated Ford Escort Mark II. Loses a position at the merge to Verkerningen, and really he'll hope that Johnny Jokers next time around just to get out of the traffic and let Neyens get his head down and chase after McGarry.
And McGarry back up front, still going to have to take the Joker at some point. Verkerningen also in the second spot, so Neyens going to have a really good opportunity here in the third to possibly make a pass for second.
2.4 the gap between McGarry and Neyens. I would Joker McGarry now if I was on the radio as a spotter. Look at the attitude of the car. I'd say he's definitely going in, carrying the momentum around the outside, followed by Johnny Verkerningen. But McGarry doesn't have enough at the merge. Has to turn out the wall as well, so lost a bit more time. Nick Neyens with a brilliant push lap there. McGarry under big pressure from the big BMW behind. A 40.8 for Neyens last time around was a stellar lap. McGarry's under massive pressure, but not driving too defensively, and that's when you start to hemorrhage time, not closing the door too early.
Getting the rotation done early. McGarry getting a lot of pressure now from Verkerningen.
Struggling to get the traction on the exit, isn't he, the Polo driver? Rear of the car flailing around. McGarry, though, looks like he's going to hold on as Neyens crosses the line to take the victory. The time is a 2:49.1, quicker than Eric Lidman, the winner of the opening race. McGarry, they'll be pleased to get to the end of that one in second. A little bit of damage limitation, I would say.
Yeah.
Brilliant start there from the Polo, Jim. Look at it from the
McGarry just shot out of a cannon there.
wild. As soon as he pulls second, it just grips up.
Yeah, he ended up, with a good 5-car length lead, but the end, Nahan's just able to chip away at it. Nahan's beautiful use of the Joker early on was able to get that gap and just start pushing. And like you said, he had a brilliant push lap.
Local knowledge there for Nahans as well. Look how McGarry just that little bit wide on the way into the Joker, then rides up the curb on the exit, whereas Nahans was just there on the apex the whole way around.
That brings us to our results there for race number 4, Q3 Open 2-wheel drive. It was Garverlink. Oh, excuse me. We're getting the wrong results here. Started to read off our leaderboard. Apologies for those of you sitting at home. There it is. We got Nick Nahans, Peter McGarry in the second spot, Verkernigan in the third spot. Yeah, Nick Nahans, though, great, beautiful use of that Joker, trying to, got around 2 drivers. As we go to the start here, it's going to be our last session in 2-wheel drive Open.
Someone's missing from this one. Of course, this is the rerun of the previous race, so very astutely they've put the race in between to keep things rolling along. So this is missing the 2 cars in the incident, sadly for Hendricks and then Thielen, who had that contact. Dan Arts again with the brilliant start, followed by Tom Geenan. It's Tom Geenan's birthday today, so we'll be looking for a strong result.
What did Mark Bell say? There was a 90% rate that particular car gets the whole shot, like in history or something?
Well, I think he actually said 70 times out of 80.
Yeah,
so what percentage is that?
It's better than 90. 95%? Yeah, he had it down, and I was like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But he's not wrong. I mean, Ertz has been phenomenal with the starts.
And, put a lot of effort into getting this car here this weekend.
Keenan, though, putting a lot of pressure on Ertz now.
Oh,
a little mistake there. Looked like a mischief possibly for Ertz.
Loads of understeer there in turn 3. Keenan's forced into the Joker. A wise decision, I would say. The Hulk's in the background, but isn't going to be able to trouble. Keenan just touches the wall on the exit with the rear of the big Volvo. I love the Volvo S40. There was some supercars back in period. Look, Hunspec used to drive a Volvo S40. They have brilliant cars because they're so unlikely as a competition car, aren't they? A big family saloon is not what you'd expect, but perfect for open 2-wheel drive, especially with the long wheelbase.
Oh, the Hulk drifted out into the sand trap.
I was just about to say how predictable a long wheelbase car is as the Hulk runs wide, but yeah, you want a long wheelbase, don't you, to have that more progressive chassis. The shorter wheelbases cars can be very nervous.
All right, so Ertz is going to Joker. We're going to see if Geenan's going to have enough. It looks like he might be able to sneak by just in front of Ertz. Take a lead. No, Ertz down to the bottom. He's going to get it back. Geenan not able to do it. Looked like he had it there for a minute, just couldn't quite pinch him off.
So difficult to get the traction around the outside. 2:12.7 was the time as they crossed the line to go into this final tour. So I would say that's not nearly where Nick Nahans was. Oh, Geenan's going to look to the inside. That is a brave place to make an overtake.
Oh, he's going to have track position.
Arts shuts the door, but it's too late at that stage because the big old Volvo is already on the inside.
Brilliant bit of driving there.
The Escort looks pretty small in comparison, doesn't it? Just ricocheted off the side of the Volvo.
All right, so it's going to be on this last lap. Geenan and Ertz 1 and 2. The Hulk going to have to settle for third. Checkered flag is out. It is Geenan, Ertz, Hulk 1, 2, 3 in this one. Great pass in one of the corners that's really, really tough to pass in.
2:55.0 is the winning time, so that will be good enough for 6th overall at the moment. But a lot of battling in that one, cost a fair bit of time.
That was Ertz with the whole shot. Here was a pass for the lead though. Geenan around Ertz, nothing there. Geenan getting pushed out to the outside, had to take his Joker. Gave a little bit of breathing room for Ertz. Light touch of the wall there. Hulk coming around, dropping a couple wheels into the sand trap. This was the pass for the lead. Geenen just getting around Ertz, and then Ertz getting back around Geenen, not able to seal the deal. Thought it was going to be over for Geenen, but here we go into that hard 90-degree corner. Geenen with the track position, sneaks around Ertz. Walking away with the victory was Tom Geenen in race number 3 of Open Two-Wheel Drive qualifying session 3. Ertz in the second spot, the Hulk in the third. Obviously a couple of DNFs for drivers from that earlier incident. But Geenen, beautiful bit of racecraft there to get around on the last lap. We've got one more to go here. Open Two-Wheel Drive, race 5. Mannix, Bex, Boulders, Van Lummel, Verhoeven. We're going to see if Bex can get ahead of Mannix. It's been his kryptonite all weekend long.
Boulders looks to the inside on Bex through the first corner, leans on the rear quarter a little bit, doesn't have the power to find a way up the inside. Mannix again at the front of the field here. Bex shadowing. Boulders didn't get the kind of start that he had last time around in Q2, but just as we saw when Bart Bell joined us in the commentary box before, Bex probably has the ultimate pace here on lap time alone, but Mannix is just so wily. He's relatively young for a Super National driver, but he's just so good at placing the car in the right place at the right time. Massive talent. I would love to see Mannix come and do some of the events in the north. I'd love to see them up in Alvespin, in Honky Yocky, and see what they can do, because we're so used to seeing these drivers perform at this level at their home circuit. I would love to get them out of their comfort zone a little bit. Clearly super talented, great cars. Come and mix it up a little bit elsewhere. Bex applying big pressure to the rear of the big Volvo.
We're going to see when is Bex going to take his joker. He doesn't want to take. Ah, look at that. Finally, we get a little bit of separation between the two, and it looked like he tried to lure him into it again.
Damage on the rear of Mannix's car. I wonder if Bex leaned on the rear. That wouldn't have been malicious. I wonder if they were kind of goading each other. Are you going, are you not? Are you following, are you not? I love that strategy.
But poor Bex has been hung out to dry by following into the joker multiple times this weekend so far, and just been his vice. But right now, Bex out front. We're going to see what he can do with it.
And now we'll see the ultimate pace that Bart Bell was talking to us about earlier on. Clear up front for sure. Won't joker this time around if that pace is in him and the car. Someone's run a bit wide. No, they haven't. That's Bex taking a huge cut through the left-hander to try and get everything possible out of this lap time. Bex did a 39.7 last time around. It's a 39.0 this time. Bex is absolutely flying. Mannix did a 39.5, so 0.5 of a second gained for Bex. As we see a battle further back, we really need to see the joker merge, because this joker is going to be absolutely critical. As Bex is in the compulsory extra route now. Mannix does not have a response. Look at the margin that Christoph Bex has pulled. That is a stunning couple of push laps.
I mean, it was going to be close, and Bex, able to widen the gap there and come away with a victory. That one's got to feel good for him. He's been second to Mannix now, and finally got around, got the monkey off of his back. A great run for Bex. Mannix going to have to settle for second in this one. He's had a great bit of qualifying runs, though, so far. So Mannix definitely going to be one to look at. So we see the start here, and it looked like Bex was going to get the best of Mannix, but Mannix with that track position ended up getting around Bex. Bex getting pushed wide there.
2:43.6 was the time. Some 6 seconds quicker than Nayans, who'd been fastest until that point. And in fact, the top 3 in this go to the top of the order. It's not going to be enough, though, to stop Mannix taking the top qualifier position. He'll have pole for semi-final 1. Bex will have pole in semi-final 2. Really, Bex would have wanted to try and get that done a little bit earlier, because if they both win, Mannix will still be on pole for the final, and really you want to try and get pole off, because that's so powerful.
It was Bex, Mannix 1 and 2. Going to move us on to Supercar Lights. This is going to be race number 1, Q3. Larson, JVD. Van Dassler in the middle spot. Jonas on the outside. Remember, Jonas found his way into the dirt, into the sand trap that last time by. So See if he can change things up here. Mads Larsen got the track position on the inside.
Good start from Larsen. As Jonas and JVD, who've been basically inseparable all weekend, they're again side by side in this opening turn. Larsen driving with all the confidence of a driver who's had a really good full season last year, moving the car around clearly, feeling at one with it at the moment.
All right, so JVD going to be in second. Jonas going to be in third. Both those cars very tight. Mads Larsen, great run, lap number 1. Trying to put a lot of space between the field. Going to have to take that joker at some point. See if Jonas can find a way to get around JVD. Nice through there. Is anybody going to take the joker this time by? Looks like that is going to be Jonas taking the joker. Probably a wise choice with only a couple laps remaining. See if you can have a great push lap and have a chance to get around JVD in that second spot. You're going to see Jonas really push here. Now JVD starting to push Mads Larsen.
Gave just enough room there. Good respect in the opening corner from JVD, not to force the issue. Larsen also wise to getting involved there. Remember that?
Oh, big
he's dropped it.
rotation.
Larsen's dropped it at the hairpin. I wonder if the rear wheel just dug in a bit.
Now we're going to have JVD taking the joker. I don't know if he's going to have enough. Is Larsen going to be able to get it? No, excuse me, Jonas having to settle for the second spot. JVD now taking the lead. Got so excited I started calling Larsen's name, who had spun in the previous corner.
Well, I also said the rear wheel dug in. Of course, it'll be the front that dug in to make the rear rotate. And Larsen is just not there, is he? So I wonder if there's been something in the front drive line, perhaps, where it's turned into a bit of a rear wheel drive machine. Larsen is still going, but some way behind. I think that was just a genuine mistake. It doesn't look like he's carrying an issue, does it? Car still looks okay to me.
Now look at that. Jonas looked like a little handling problems. The car's just kind of stepping out on him a bit. And right now it's going to be JVD going to take this one home. Jonas going to be in second. Mads Larsen led most of the race. Going to have to settle for third after that big spin there in that hard 90-degree gravel corner. Going to look back at this race. Larsen with the jump on the line had the lead going into the first corner. Jonas getting pushed a little wide. Dip some wheels off into the dirt. See Jonas taking the joker very early. He had Mads Larsen now getting pushed by JVD. Gonna apply the pressure, and then Larsen just letting it go over rotation, flips it around. JVD takes second, Jonas third. And that's the way it was gonna end. JVD on top, race 1 of Supercar Lights qualifying session heat number 3. Jonas in second, Mads Larsen gonna have to settle for third after that spin. All right, so we got another group of Supercar Lights on the line. This is gonna be race number 2. Vittels, Atink, Lindquist, and Darbic in this one. Vittels on top in that previous session.
Great start from Robert Vittels on the inside. Darbic, who's been in the first of the races so often this weekend. Oh, a little bit of contact in the rear of local driver Otting. They both get away with it. Lindqvist running third. But Robert Vittels yet again making the best of the starts. The Latvian driver using all of the experience. Team boss Eric Farren not here this weekend. He's working on Timmy Hansen's boat in the E1 series on Lake Como. It feels a bit like Lake Como here, to be fair. It's lovely and warm and sunny. And Robert Vittels enjoying it as well. Pulling out quite a margin there on the opening lap. nearly a second, just a couple of hundredths shy of that mark. Darback doesn't have the pace I expected this weekend for whatever reason.
No, he's fallen back very quickly in this one. Vittels, though, been perfect thus far with 3 to go. Our top 3 still going to have to take the Joker. Darback getting his done this lap.
Darback into the Joker. It's immaterial when you take it at that stage from the back of the pack.
So Vittels, Ottink, and Lindquist. I don't think you're going to see Vittels take it. I don't think he's got quite the spread on the field he needs quite yet to pull it this early.
I'd say you need just under 2 seconds in a Lights car. The gap's 1 second exactly at the moment. So Ottink kind of came back at Vittels a bit, but Vittels' experience will help him manage this gap as well. And with limited tyres in use for today, you don't want to push too hard at this stage because you know you're going to need those tyres in the final later on.
Now, it was a questionable decision for Ottink to take it because now he's behind Lindquist, which is a slower driver, and he really needs a strong push lap to be able to get the pass on Vittels. So I thought...
Yeah, it is strange, you're right, but you also can't predict what the driver behind is going to do. And if you've got any hope of passing Vittels, you probably need to be taking the Joker at a different time. So ultimately Vittels has got great ultimate pace, so I don't think you can... You've got to mix it up sometimes just to see if anything can happen, so I don't think it's particularly bad on their part. But you're right, it hasn't worked out for them at all as Vittels crosses the line with a time of 2:35.8, massively faster than JVD went in the previous one to take the fastest time. In fact, everyone in this race went quicker than the previous one. So Vittels, Ottink, Lindquist and Darback go to the top 4 in this session.
So Vittels early on gets the lead, got the whole shot, goes through turn number 1, clean air. See Ottink taking the Joker there early. That allowed number 4 to get around. Lundqvist. Ottink applying a lot of pressure. Was able to get back around on the Joker, but Supercar Lights race 2. Vittels top honors, Ottink, Lindquist your top 3. All right, moving on to open four-wheel drive, the Supercars.
And we are missing Nicholas Gronholm. I've in fact seen Nicholas Gronholm just walk up into the spotters tower area, so whatever the issue is, the gap's been too short between these runs to get that solved. So we're down to a 2-car race in this one.
Sounds like they're having a water pressure issue with the engine.
Nason leading out front from Casper Janssen, and I'm sure Janssen will Joker this time around to try and get some free air. In fact, Nason goes in, Janssen changed his mind. A reasonable strategy call from Nason to try and cover off Janssen, because he would of course taken the Joker to get the free air, but actually that's worked out perfectly for Janssen. Not too much time lost on the way into the Joker. Now we can just smash in the laps and try and pull a margin.
And we really haven't been able to see the speed Casper Janssen's got this weekend. It just seems like, oh, that was a big off into the... Never let off the gas. You just see the car go up in the air, jumped. You've
got to keep the foot in, really, because if you let it get stuck, it's unlikely to come out. Good salvage job from the Swede. Look at the cut they're taking through the left-hander over that curb.
Yeah, like I said, Casper Janssen, we haven't really been able to see the speed quite yet. Seems like just been incident after incident for Casper this weekend.
Wrong place, wrong time. His career's been full of that sort of stuff, wildly fast, but just getting stuck in the melee sometimes. Not suggesting it's his own fault, it just sometimes you just end up in those situations where you're the one that gets pushed out wide, you're the one that gets spun, you're the one that hits the rut and gets the puncture. It's just sometimes a knock-on effect, but absolutely flying up front at the moment. 37.2 was his time last time around, and for sure he'll go to the end to try and pull this margin as much as possible.
And as you can see,
All right, so we're going to see Casper take it on this lap. See if he can keep the gap spread. I think it's going to be pretty close right now after that off with Nason. He's been able to battle back after losing that time. Nason going to be on the traditional line. Casper Janssen going to have to take the Joker this time, trying to spread the field as much as he can. There goes Casper through the Joker. Nason now going to be taking the main line. I think Casper's going to have it cleared by quite a ways. As he comes around this final corner, it is going to be Casper Janssen with the checkered flag. Nason going to have to hold on for second. All right, here is replay. Nason out front, followed by Casper Janssen. Here's the big off by Nason. You just see him stay in it, out through the sand. It reminds me of my days in Baja. That was quite a bit of rough drive. You got to give him credit, like you said, stayed in the gas, and car was just bouncing through. Brings us to our results. Casper Janssen on top in race number 1 of open four-wheel drive. Nason in the second spot. Nicholas Gronholm, we're heard, having a water pressure issue with his car, electing not to run in that qualifier. Sounds like we will see him back in the semifinals, which is exciting. All right, this next one, it is Darbeck, Klaassen, Oman, and Leighton.
Brilliant start for Darbeck on the inside. And for Luton in the traditional Skoda Fabia supercar, shuts the door on Klaassen, but there's you can't just expect someone to disappear. And that opens the door up from Adam Oman behind. Per Bjornsson from the JC team doing all sorts of roles this weekend, spotting for Adam Oman. JC and the Oman the Oman family go back a long way, so lots of help being given there to Oman as he makes his step up into four-wheel drive rallycross. Luton Jokers on this opening tour.
Yeah, Luton dropping way back.
Luton an issue in the background. Darbeck leading out front. Darbeck's had a bit of a turbulent weekend, hasn't he, so far, as Luton's pulled off at the start line.
You know, like Luton's just been having troubles all day, and tough to see him pull off like that. Right now, though, it is Darbeck out front.
Oman's looking much more on top of that FC2 in the background. Really relying on the front axle to drag the nose back. He was saying to us in the pre-show, wasn't he, that he's so used to having to be patient with a car with a rear-wheel drive where you just got to wait. You can't just jump on the front because the rear will rotate. Here in the four-wheel drive cars, you need to use the front differential aggressively to be pulling the nose back. And it's such a different driving style. It's actually more akin to a front-wheel drive car in many ways. Because in a front-wheel drive, if you get sideways, you just need to wind the lock on and bury the throttle to try and pull the nose back around. I'm impressed with Klaassen there this weekend. Darbeck has a lot of four-wheel drive experience in the Supercar Lights now. Klaassen is not the youngest driver ever to make a step up to open four-wheel drive, and is doing, I would say, a pretty stellar job.
Yeah, I would definitely say he's doing a pretty stellar job. So we're going to see Darbeck, I believe, on this time by, going to be taking the Joker.
Big chunk of curb there on the exit of the chicane. That's risky. We saw Ollie Eriksson smash a wheel there last year because you're putting so much load into the side of the rim on the wrong side when you're over the lip of the curb, and they're not designed to be hit in that way. They're designed
it's a square edge when you hit it that way, and it just tries to rip the wheel. That's Darbeck through. He's going to have plenty of room to clear Klaassen. Klaassen going to get all the way back up on the rear of him.
Good push lap there from Darbeck. Into the final corner. Great run from Klaassen as well, to be fair. Adam Oman learning all the time.
You know, it's funny, Oman, we've seen him, it seems like every session get a little bit quicker and a little bit quicker this weekend. He is learning every time he's out on track, and his pace is improving.
I love a first weekend of a new championship to have that sort of experience of seeing how people progress, because once you get halfway through the year, you've got a bit more knowledge and there's less excuses. But right now, it's just all about absorbing as much as you can.
And Oman with the pass there over Leighton. there through that second corner. Oman trying to get in the mix. It was Darvik out front. Darvik walking away with top honors in this one, race number 2, Q3, open four-wheel drive supercar. Clausen second, Oman in the 3rd spot. Leighton not finishing that one, gonna have to settle for 4th place points. Up there at the crowd starting to pile in.
Bit of afternoon rallycross before
King's Night.
King's Night.
I love how this event's set up. I mean, it's one of the biggest events here in Valkenswaard on this track every year. Kind of ties in starting last year with King's Day, and I love how there's kind of a mix of rallycross and King's Day, the national holiday, makes for a very fun atmosphere.
And beer.
And beer. There's lots of beer, lots of orange.
So such has been the situation with the cars dropping out, we've actually ended up with not full grids throughout in this one, but we are waiting for Lucas Anderson and Robert Cerner in this final race.
Yeah, he's talking to his spotter. What's going on with
Yeah, this would be an interesting race. The brothers just having a shootout.
Yeah. There is Lucas Anderson appearing in the background.
Probably they've just restarted the app to make sure that the electric...
Cerner there, been caught in the traffic with some of the truck recovery vehicles, but is now pulling up to the line. Watch the tyre clean.
All right, so Cerner now going to take the grid.
FC2 out of the house of OMSE. So we do have...
So Cerner getting dialed in there. It's going to be very, very fast grid in this one. Kevin Eriksson on the pole. Younger brother Oliver Eriksson in the 2nd spot. Anderson in the 3rd. Cerner going to be starting in the outside. Tough spot with this one. Dutch flag waves. We're a handful of seconds from going green. Eriksson brothers side by side out of the gate, but look at Cerner on the outside. Great stop for Cerner.
Ollie Eriksson with the best start into the 1st corner, covers the inside. Cerner's trying to shut the door on Kevin Eriksson. Kevin Eriksson keeps the nose in. He's still got the nose in down into turn 2, gets out of the throttle to not turn around Cerner. Great start from the Estonian driver, but he's run wide into turn 3. Kevin Eriksson using all of that experience to get back up the inside. Will anyone joker this time around? No, they don't. Lucas Anderson in the background does indeed go in, but he's a long way back. Something must have happened there.
Yeah, that was a very bad start. It was like he hesitated off the start. He just didn't get the jump on the field. Now it's a massive gap back to Lucas Anderson, but right now we're going up front. Oliver Eriksson just putting in the work right now. A little over rotation coming out of that. His brother Kevin's really going to try and chase him down here.
These boys are taking some risks now. Big chunk of curb there through the 2nd part of the chicane. That's where Ollie Eriksson smashed a wheel last year while leading here at the Euro circuit. Look at them. It's like a mirror image of dancing, the two Eriksson brothers, just sitting the car in exactly the same place. Cerner going with them. What a brilliant opportunity this is for Robert Cerner to follow Kevin and Ollie Eriksson in the cars that they develop. Just watch what they're doing. Yes, you can look at all the data you want in the truck, but just seeing how it happens in real life, there's absolutely no replacement for it, and there's nothing to choose between them. Fastest lap of the race for Kevin Eriksson, the 36.930.
And Kevin Eriksson in qualifying earlier today in practice, just absolutely lightning quick. May have a little edge on Oliver Eriksson, but Oliver going to be tough to get around. He was a victor yesterday. We're going to see who is going to pull the trigger on this joker first.
I would say Kevin will go sooner, but you can't really because Cerner's in the window. Cerner's only 1.2 behind Kevin at the moment. Oliver also couldn't because Cerner's only 1.8, and that's probably too close to risk dropping into the traffic. So they've both got to go again. Ultimately, Kevin and Oliver will know that this battle isn't for Heat 3, it's for the final, if they get there later on today, because they've both got fantastic pace. Ollie, though, really has hooked up the starts, and that's making a massive difference.
Yeah, he's had a beautiful weekend so far, keeping it alive here. Nice rotation on the car. Kevin Eriksson, nice rotation on the car. They're both going to slide through, take the joker on this one. there's just not going to be any way that Kevin can chase down his younger brother Oliver. Like you said, Sirna, great effort there in the third. I mean, very impressive outing in this session for Sirna, as Oliver Eriksson going to take top honors, Kevin Eriksson second, Sirna in the third spot.
And to show how quickly Eriksson's going, a 2:32.1 against Casper Janssen's 2:33.9. Janssen is no slouch at all, so that is a stellar run from Ollie Eriksson. Let's have a look back at the replays. Ollie made the best of the start. Sirna tried to shut the door on Kevin Eriksson. Kevin just placed the car there on the inside enough to make it difficult. Sirna then ran deep in turn 3, and Kevin was able to get back up the inside, but an impressive run from Sirna. Finished only 1.6 seconds off the back of Kevin Eriksson. Lap time wise was maybe 6/10 off the Eriksson brothers on ultimate pace. I don't think he'll be disappointed with that for his first ever weekend in four-wheel drive competition.
Yeah, beautiful effort there. Oliver Eriksson with top honors. Kevin Eriksson from Sirna in the third spot. Lucas Anderson having some struggles in that one, going to settle for fourth. That was our final race here of the qualifying sessions. Now we're going to take a brief break. We're going to come back, regroup everything. We're going to have semifinals and finals on the grid. For those of you tuning in at home, you guys are going to have to go onto YouTube, get the other link. We're going to shut off this one. We're going to go to the new link on YouTube. We will be back here momentarily, but you definitely want to log off. Go grab something cold to eat. Hey, we're going to be celebrating King's Night tonight. Might want to get started a little bit early, but go over to YouTube, and we'll see you after this.